think we good. I think we good. Man, y'all already know what's up. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. If this your first time tuning and tapping in, welcome, welcome, welcome. We talk about everything here from sports, music, movies, entertainment, social commentary, and all types of things going on social media. And we have a good time. So again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. This is episode 106, 106 episodes. Not a lot of podcasts could say that they have this many episodes, and I'm grateful and thankful for all of y'all who support, watch, show love, and engage each and every show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it a million. Shout out to the chat. We got the chat already in here live, showing a lot of love. Appreciate for the chat for tuning and tapping in. As always, I hate when people text me while I'm on my live and they know better. I want to say some choice words to them right now, but it's all good. They probably tune in as we speak as well. Shout out to y'all again for supporting the show. We on the road to 20,000 subs. We're a little over 11,000 subs, and it continues to go up and up and up. So again, thank y'all, thank you, thank you. Also, got over 500 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel. So make sure you tune and tap into those videos, those shorts. We got a whole bunch of them, and they so interesting, and it gives a lot of a good conversation started. So make sure y'all tap into those. We also got membership portions in the page. Different members do granted different access. So we will point out the badge holders who will be tapping in. We got badge holders already in the building. So if you to continue to support, again, check out the membership portion of this page, and they're available in the chat. What else we got going on? Again, thank y'all for supporting my new EP, Windows Loyalty, up on all music platforms. If you haven't already, just type in Ashley Lovechild on every music platform and tap into the new EP called Windows Loyalty. And I appreciate that as well. Also, don't be an agent of chaos. Show love. Don't be a stain. Don't try to stand out by being negative. Have that great mindset and show absolute love. And this is a positive channel over here. We show major love. I get bots like everybody else do each and every episode, but you know how we do. We send them to the block party. So we giving out some tickets tonight. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. So show that love. A quick shout out to the chat. We got the chat in the building. Like I said, we got day ones and we have badge holders in the building. I'm not gonna say everybody, but just a quick shout out to some of the people. Shout out to who's that? Shout out to Hazel in the building. Shout out to Culture Talk in the building. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to Winter in the building. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to King P all day, man. What do you think about Coach Prime and Colorado after they got worked? From Utah. Oh, Utah 63-7. Yo, yo, that was nasty. That was nasty. That game was nasty in itself. That Utah versus Colorado game was nasty in itself. And again, shout out to King P. Thank you for the gifted. But they got worked. They got you, like you said. They got worked. I'm taking your word right now. They got worked. They got a beating like no other, and I actually think it's good for the team. Quick shout out to, like I said, Tremont, Brooklyn. We in here, Culture. I did your picks, bro. 5-1. Good looking. I won some money, bro. All right. You know what I'm saying? I don't ask for no money back when y'all win, but you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Haha. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Culture. You won some money on. But back to King P. What do you think of Coach Prime in Colorado after they got work from Utah 63 or 53? I think it was 53 to 7. I think it was 53 to 7. Um, like I said, I think it was good for them. I think some of the guys needed a wake up call. You seen Well Off Media. Shout out to Bucky, who's Deion Sanders Jr. He runs their media at Colorado. They got the breaks beat off of them mainly because the guys on that team who are upperclassmen, they felt like their season was over last week or the week prior to when they beat Iowa State. They feel like they're better than what they are. And you had a former player, Chidozie, defensive tackle, that went to their practice and was like, "Yo, y'all need to wake up. Like this looks terrible. Like y'all supposed to be goons, but we don't see that on the field." And when you translate to a team like Utah, who is a good team, but talent-wise, Colorado does match up. It's all in mentality. And still in Coach Prime's third year at Colorado, they're still trying to figure out the mentality of the team. You could clearly see Coach Prime is not with none of the madness. You could clearly see he's trying to maintain mentality on the team, but mentality just don't fall on the coach. It falls on the players. When I was watching that, it wasn't necessarily the scheme. It was all mentality or attitude, and the right players matter. That's why in high school, when you have the same coach, and he basically trains the kids from being freshmen, when you have a bad bunch of seniors, that's just what it is. They're a bad bunch of seniors, a bad bunch of juniors. They're terrible. The freshmen and sophomores on Colorado is the best players on their team. And if Colorado continues to recruit through high school and find those type of kids, because those type of kids don't know no better. Those type of kids want to be great. When you see all the young kids on their team, they want to be great. The older guys feel accomplished. They feel like they was at this school and that school. Smaller base schools would made it easier for them to do their thing. And now they at a Power Four, in a Power Four system. It's not that easy. You gotta not say you that dog. You gotta show you that dog. Not just with performance, but also in mentality. Being a leader in the locker room. Being a leader when nobody else is watching. So there's multiple things going on with Colorado and why they lost 53 to 7 to Utah. I mean, it was all mentality. I mean, Utah will get rocked moving forward. The quarterback that they had, their backup quarterback, he can't throw worth the lick. Can't throw worth the lick. And they didn't have to. All they had to do was ground and pound. Them safeties couldn't tackle. Their DBs is not tackling. Their linebackers is not wiping off properly. So it's just not a scheme thing. It's a mentality thing. So I think Coach Prime is going to be just fine. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, fire him." Listen, anybody that's saying Coach Prime need to be fired, guess what? He's not going anywhere. He's not stepping down. The man had surgery that was pertaining to, I believe, colon cancer, if I'm not mistaken, or something with his bladder, if I'm not mistaken. Had surgery and was back on the field that same week. That's a man that's dead ass serious. That's a man that's not going anywhere. He just signed a 5-year deal. In the state of Denver, they have to sign off. The state has to sign off on his $50 million contract. His buyout is like $30 million. Colorado can't even fire Deion Sanders. Because who else is going to want that job? Who else is going to want to go to Colorado and turn it up? Deion Sanders affects the economy of that Colorado area in Boulder. He affects the economy. He's not going anywhere. They're just having a up and down year. They just beat a ranked team and they just got spanked by an unranked team. They're having an up and down year. Let's call it what we see. It's an up and down year. They're going to be fine. I would say that they'll be in trouble if their freshmen and sophomores was trash. But their freshmen and sophomores is the best players on their team. And they're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. Trust me, they're going to be just fine. If they continue to build that way, they're going to be just fine. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. So I appreciate King P for the question. Shout out to Patrick Torres in the building. What's up, my dude? Appreciate you tapping in. Paul in the building. Okay, we got Paul in the building. You already know Paul in the building, showing major love. Some of our day ones already in the building. Shout out to Maria Rivera in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. How are you doing today, sir? My dad's funeral yesterday. My family talked about you yesterday. We all definitely appreciate you, sir. Wow, appreciate that. Thank you, Maria. That's major love. Again, rest in peace to your father. He was a big contributor to the show. And always, each and every show, we appreciate you for tapping in, showing love, engaging in the chat, hitting them likes, and we appreciate you being here. And his memory will be remembered through you and everyone that loved him. So, again, appreciate you for that. Wow. Uh, Patrick Torres, my Giants had a big loss. Scam Cataboo today. Another weapon gone. Yeah, yeah, I seen that. I seen that. I said the Giants will lose. You know, I do my pick six every Wednesday night. You know, I'm gonna talk about my pick six a little later on. But yeah, they caught the big nasty today. They caught the paddle to the butt today. But like I told y'all, I'm not a hater. I keep things in its proper perspective. The Giants are going to be just fine. They have a lot of young talent. They seem to found their quarterback of their future that they believe in, that they want to see be better, that they want to see grow. He's going to get his butt kicked week by week, and he's also going to play, you know, somewhat well. He's going to find a game where he do play very well. But this is the time where he gets reps and catches lumps. So I think he's going to be fine. The team is going to be fine. So we'll see. I think this by Daboll another year. But if they start off next year shaky, I think Daboll is gone. I think Daboll is gone. So if I'm Daboll, I'll be very careful regarding these wins and losses. But yeah, they took the big one. I seen that. Man, that was crazy. Shout out to Maria. I'm getting ready to watch. Okay, appreciate you tapping in. We're going to be talking about that too, as far as the verses as well, a little later on in the show. All right, y'all. Moving on to our first segment of the night, Popular Opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. If you go to Instagram at OUV Records, you can stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune. All right, y'all, first question of the night. And remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. I want to see them engagements. Best lie you was ever told. Best lie you was ever told. Number one, she's just a friend. Number two, I paid the rent. Number three, I'm not cheating on you. Number four, that's your baby. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the best lie you was ever told. Number one, she's just a friend. Number two, I paid the rent. Number three, I'm not cheating on you. Number four, that's your baby. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Best lie, it should be the worst lie. It's the worst lie you was ever told. The worst lie, not the best lie, right? I guess so. The best or the worst lie you was ever told. I guess so. I'm seeing two. So all of these is terrible. All of these is terrible, in my opinion. Looking at this, that's your baby is crazy. That's your baby is crazy. They just did a thing with the mandatory testing that they will be mandatory. They're trying to put through for mandatory testing for new births and stuff like that. So that may be a thing moving forward, which should have been a long time ago. But that's still crazy. I'm not cheating on you. That's kind of like common, right? We kind of heard that before in all relationships. So that's not too crazy, even if it's true or not true. I think we've kind of all heard that before. If you and your partner had some sort of issue, I paid the rent is crazy. There's nothing worse than having the rent over your head. How can you have any type of peace of mind? I mean, that's wild to me. And she's just a friend. I've said that before. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And in some instances, they were just a friend. I kept it a bean. So me personally, I'm gonna say the best lie I was ever told. I'm not cheating on you. I'm not cheating on you. Now, again, I'm not dumb enough to think that I've never had a girlfriend, not somebody I was dealing with, but a girlfriend that have never cheated before. I, I honestly believe that I may have had one or two girlfriends that may have cheated on me before. Do I know for sure? I really don't, because I just don't have that. I do care, but I don't care. I'm not the boyfriend that's gonna be checking your phone, who you with. I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I kind of feel if I have to worry, then we don't need to be together. But if I think back of all the girlfriends I've ever had in my life, to think that they may have been one or maybe two that tiptoed a little something, something, I wouldn't be surprised. I would say that. Did it happen? I don't know. Because I feel like I pick good girls, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm going to say I'm not cheating on you. So I think that's the best lie I ever told. In the chat, I'm seeing multiple answers. I'm seeing I paid the rent. That's crazy. I paid the rent is crazy. I'm sorry, but the Venus stuff got old for me. Oh my God, Ash. 3 for me. She's just a friend. It's the best one. Biz Markie made that classic song about it. I remember that song. That song was kind of fire. I ain't even gonna hold you. That is a classic song. That is a classic song. They need to remake that and bring that back out. All right, so I got different answers in the chat. Again, I went with I'm not cheating on you. In the chat, it was a multitude of answers. The rest of the world at 44% went with she's just a friend. Number one, she's just a friend. 44% in the chat went with that. And mind you, over 3,000 people voted on this. So again, I'm not surprised. And I mean, sometimes things happen. I mean, men tell women that, or women tell women that, so we live in a new world today. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that is what it is. But 2 is crazy. I paid the rent. It's crazy. That's crazy. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next popular opinion question. Which kid or kids you're not babysitting on this list? Which kid or kids you're not babysitting on this list? Number 1, Dennis the Menace. Number 2, Bebe's kids. Number 3, Junior Haley. Number 4, Kevin McAllister. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, which kid or kids you're not babysitting on this list? Again, number 1, Dennis the Menace. Number 2, Bebe's kids. Number 3, Junior Haley. Number 4, Kevin McAllister. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. All these kids was terrible. I don't know if y'all familiar with Dennis the Menace, but Dennis the Menace used to get into all types of stuff. But I think he was more like innocent more than anything. Like he just did it just because. Like he didn't know no better. And it was like kind of like the white version of Urkel, but not so nerdy, right? But more innocent. That's why I say he was younger, he was more innocent. Bebe's kids, they was a terror. If anybody's familiar with Bebe's kids, if y'all ever seen the cartoon movie Bebe's kids, those kids is like the epitome of like, if you're dating a woman, fellas, and she got these kids, these are glaring red signs. Run to the hills, get away from them, won't appreciate nothing, and just always causing mischief. They was doing all types of stuff. Junior Haley was he was basically like the devil in walking form, like in an 11-year-old's body. Like he was just out here just doing stuff just to get his chuckle on. Like he was just out here doing stuff. Like at the end of the day, like he did, like, and he knew what he was doing on top of that. So he was pretty terrible. And Kevin McAllister, y'all know his resume on Home Alone. He was defending that house. He was a scared kid, and he was defending that house. Like he was getting busy. So me personally, out of everybody on this list, I'm going with Junior Haley on this list. He was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. This kid, again, was just doing stuff just to be amused. And he knew what would happen. He knew what he was doing. At his age, he knew it. He was a complete menace. Like, you talk about a dentist, he was a complete menace in himself. Shout out to the chat. I'm seeing four. Four is Macaulay Culkin. Really going with Macaulay Culkin in the chat. I'm from the kid of Home Alone. You seem like you've grown, lived through a lot. I asked you a question. I've been asking some things myself. Thank you. Could you answer? Shout out to Nico in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. The tar and the nail to the guy's foot. Yeah, that is true. The tar and it. So you talking about Kevin? Yeah. So you talking about Kevin? Kevin did do the tar and the nail to the guy's foot. Yes, he did. Blow. He had the torch. He had the torch that blew the other guy's hair off. Yes, that's a fact. But yes. So again, for me, I'm going with Junior Haley. In the chat, I'm seeing more so Kevin. I'm seeing more so Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. That's what I'm seeing from Home Alone. Shout out to Malu in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hey, y'all, press that like. If you don't know how to, just double tap the screen. If you know how to, please share, support the channels, subscribe for more love. Thank you, Malu. Appreciate you for tapping in. How are you? I'm doing well myself. Appreciate you for tapping in, Malu. But yeah, so again, the question is, which kid or kids you're not babysitting on this list? Number one was Dennis the Menace. Number two was Bebe's kids. Number three, Junior Haley. Number four, Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Most of y'all so far have went with Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. I'm going with Junior Haley. If y'all have ever seen the movie Problem Child or Problem Child 2, y'all would know exactly what I'm talking about. He was in full understanding on how to be a menace and how to be active. So again, I'm going with Junior Haley. The rest of the world at 37% went with Bebe's kids. Bebe's kids? They went with Bebe's kids? Mind you, over 2,000 people voted on this, but Bebe's kids? Yeah, I guess you got a point. I mean, Bebe's kids was doing the most at the little land that they went to, their version of like Great Adventures. They was doing the most there. But yeah, I'm going with Junior Haley, dog. He was just too. He just knew what he was doing on top of that. Like, but Baby, I respect Bebe's kids, but Junior Haley should have won this. But it's cool. It's cool. That's what the rest of the world went with. So, all right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. Came up with the segment because Hollywood just don't give us enough interesting movies, ideas, creativity. I feel like I got better ideas for a movie or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us tonight. A movie I would love to see. I would love to see a movie, a new version of the old school movie called Uncle Buck featuring John Candy. I know they try to bring it back with Mike Epps into a show, but I would actually love to see it more in a movie style in this, because the original movie style was fire. So this particular movie, I think, would absolutely be fire because of who I would cast for this. So the movie would basically be based how men impact households and the benefit of having a man who cares for the household in the household, whether it's dad, uncle, pop, a family friend, but just a man's presence in the household not only give protection, not only give funds and resources, but it also give confidence. So I would love to see a movie based on that myself. Of course, this would be rated R and it would be a comedy. I would have as my director, believe it or not, Anthony Anderson, the comedian Anthony Anderson. I would give him a shot at directing. And starring in this movie, I would have Eddie Murphy, Tashina Arnold, Cat Williams, Kiki Palmer, Marseille Martin, and Corey Holcomb. I think Corey Holcomb is hilarious. I just think that Corey Holcomb probably don't get the love because like he says a lot of things that he believes in, and sometimes it may offend somebody. So, I guess the truth doesn't matter. But me personally, I would cast him for this movie if I'm holding the financial strings to this movie. So yeah, so again, I would love to see this movie in this style. And look at my cast. My cast is hilarious. Eddie Murphy, Tashina Arnold. For those who don't know who Tashina is by name, but she plays Pam for Martin. I would even cast her daughter. Her daughter's crazy. Her daughter is crazy. She's a nut. She's extremely hilarious. Cat Williams, Keke Palmer, Mercy Martin, and Corey Holcomb. And I will have Anthony Anderson directing it. I think this would absolutely be fire. Shout out to Malu. I want to make a movie about kids and the system to show people what kids' perspectives is. That's interesting. I would add to that, there would have to be, in my opinion, to your movie, there would have to be some sort of like full circle moment in that movie. That would be fire with that. Shout out to Paul. Hope I didn't miss too much. Hello had to step away, but I see you talking about Anthony Anderson. Malu Christopher Cool enjoyed the tour. That would be hilarious. Yeah, so again, when me talking about Anthony Anderson, my Hollywood Need to Ask Us, I would love to see a movie, again, if you just tapped in, I would love to see a movie based on the impact that a man brings to a household, whether it's pop, whether it's father, grown son, uncle, nephew, but basically the prodigal son coming into a situation that needs a man's presence, because it not only gives protection, provision, resources, but it gives confidence, and it has a real effect in and on the family structure. So I would love to see that movie. And again, I would have as my actors Eddie Murphy, Tashina Arnold. I will also cast Tashina Arnold's daughter, Cat Williams, Keke Palmer, Mercy Martin, and Corey Holcomb. So I think that will absolutely be fire. Shout out to Malo. I got that, Ashley, but can't give it all away before the movie is created. That's a fact. I give you that, Malo. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm just trying to, add on to the so I'm just trying to help you put the seasoning in there. You know what I'm saying? Just a little pinch. You know what I'm saying? I just want to add a little something to it. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Cat Williams is so hated, but I like his humor. Cat Williams is hilarious. That's what, if we're talking about just talent and the art of laughter, I know some people may rub you the wrong way. Not you, y'all personally, but just, in the space of comedy, everything's offensive now. You can't really crack jokes for real. But these people are absolutely hilarious to me. So I think this would be funny. Maria, I'm going to tour next year. No Audition, Boyz II Men, and Tony Braxton. That's fire, man. That's fire. Congratulations on the tour. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you and happy for you. That is what's up. And do your thing. Do your thing and kick major butt. I got you, Ash. I got you, Ashley. I'm trying to tell you, what I'm saying? Just a little seasoning on that movie. That's all, what I'm saying? All right, so moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. Y'all know I'm going to give y'all 3 fire movies to tap into like I do each and every episode. All right, so my first must-see movie came out in 1999, directed by Chris Braw. This movie stars Shannon Tweed, Daniel Carty, Jim Richard, and Brian Kent. This movie is called Power Play. This is a must-see movie, y'all. This movie is so fire. This movie is about a young lady that's moving and grooving, doing her thing, meeting men, and watching the rest of the movie. You know me, I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. I'm not going to give y'all the, you know what I'm saying? Just go tap into the movie. Again, it's called Power Play, and it's a fire must-see movie. Second must-see movie came out in 2015, directed by Arthur Muhammad. This movie stars Vivica A. Fox, Christopher S. Dutton, Pooch Hall, David Banner, and Andre Dean. This movie is called Carter. Fire movie. Now, quality-wise, I will be honest. The quality is cool. It's cool, but you could tell this movie don't have the crazy budget. And the reason why I preface that is because it is a football movie. And if y'all familiar with the movie Friday Night Lights, at the end of that game, at the end of the movie, they played the team who were full of brothers, and they was wearing the red. So when I originally watched that movie and the way they walked out with all that confidence and bravado, the cheerleaders walked out extra gangster. Like, oh, I likes that. Like, that's popping. So it took me down a rabbit hole on doing my research of the Carter High School. And the way they painted that school, you would think that school was in the hood. They were thugs. They was just this terrible school. But come to find out that the school was in a upper middle class neighborhood. Most of them came from parents that was two-income household. Most of the kids drove cars to school. Like, it was an actual good school, a nice area in Dallas called Carter. So the movie Carter, based on a high school team of that team that they faced, who had 13 All-Americans. Great movie, but didn't have the budget as Friday Night Lights. But the messaging in the movie is still the same. It's still fire, and it is a must-see. Again, it's called Carter. So make sure you tap into that movie. Third and final must-see movie came out in 2000, directed by Rel Dwell. Rel Dowell. This movie stars Wood Harris, MC Light, Esther Roll, legendary Esther Roll, Russell Hornsby, legendary Russell Hornsby, Thomas Braxton Jr. This movie is called Train Ride. Again, another independent movie, but it's a fire movie. And the reason why I love this movie because it has a lot of messaging in the movie. So it's about three teenage, I would say three college students. I don't want to say teenage. They wasn't teenagers. Three college students living on campus. They meet a young girl, and you have to see the rest of the movie. It is a fire, must-see movie. And the reason why these movies matter is because they have a lot of cautionary, a lot of messaging, just a whole lot of things that you can learn from a movie like this. Again, it's called Train Ride. So my three must-see movies, make sure y'all tap into these. These are fire. Number one was Power Play. Number two is Carter. And number three is Train Ride. So make sure you tap into these movies. Let me see the chat. Shout out to the chat. Power Play. Hold on. Let me go back up. We got badge holders in the building, y'all. Shout out to the badge holders. Malu, the badge holder. You know what I'm saying? We got badge holders in the building. Put some respect on it. I got you, Ashley. Power Play, Carter. And Power Play, Carter, and Train Ride. The fire movie. Fire movie. Shannon Tweed is the wife from Gene Simmons from Rock Band and Kiss. Really, I did not know. I did not realize that. And she was getting it popping in this one. I mean, she was getting popping. I'm just saying. Blood In, Blood Out, my favorite movie. Vatos Locos, Holmes. Vatos Locos, Blood In, Blood Out. Vatos Locos. You know who's an underrated actor? I can't even. I know his face. I'm gonna figure out his name. I'm gonna do a list of all underrated actors throughout time that need some credit. And it was a guy that played in Blood In, Blood Out as an underrated actor. He went from trying to gape the dude to being his homie all at the same time. I was like, yo, how you try to gape somebody in one scene and now you there muscle man, and then when you get out now y'all homies and all, like, it's a crazy movie. That movie's wild. Wild. Never heard of Train Ride. Yeah, the title tells itself. The title tells itself, and it's a good movie. It's a cautionary tale as well. I'm watching all of these. Fire. Lou Diamond Phillips is underrated. Very underrated, yes. But he's underrated, but he does get his flowers. He does get his flowers. But it's another actor in there that's very underrated. But Lou Diamond Phillips is a really good actor. For those who've never seen movies like La Bamba. La Bamba's still a hit, baby. Like, that's early 80s type of joint. That still go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I can watch La Bamba right now. One of my favorite movies is The Boondock Saints. The Boondock Saints is fire. Boondock Saints is fire. Fire movie. I like 2. 1 is cool, 1 is fire, but I like 2. I like 2. 2 is popping. I like 2. So make sure y'all tap into these movies. Again, Power Play, Carter, and Train Ride. These are fire must-see movies. And there's a reason why I'm telling y'all to tap into these movies. I don't name movies just for movie's sake. So make sure y'all tap into these movies. They got great messaging, and there's something to learn from all of these movies. So make sure y'all tap in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. I'm going to give y'all an artist to go check out. Y'all know how I do it, whether it's new or old, whether it's hip-hop and R&B, I'm going to give y'all some fire music. So my profile artist for tonight that y'all got to put on your playlist, number 1 is Colin England. Again, Colin England, R&B artist, fire music. Fire music. And this music is from like late 80s, early 90s type of R&B. So y'all know what type of class of R&B when you hear late 80s, early 90s style R&B. This is top tier, upper echelon. You know what I'm saying? It's just that some artists got promoted back then and some artists didn't. He's the one that didn't, but he has fire. Can't miss music. So make sure y'all tap into Colin England. Put these 3 songs on your playlist. Number 1, Bring Me Love. Number 2, 24/7. Number 3, You Took My Love Away. Make sure y'all put those songs on y'all playlist. I guarantee you fire vibes. Again, number 1, Bring Me Love. Number 2, 24/7. Number 3, You Took My Love Away. So make sure y'all put those songs on y'all playlist by Colin England. Okay? Shout out to the chat. 2 is good too. Talking about the Boondock Saints, yeah, part 2. I mess with part 2. I ain't gonna hold you. A little clunky, but still a fire movie. I just win for me because it's an Italian movie. Okay. Just use that deeper love. That's a deeper lover. That's a deeper lover. Alright, so moving on to my next must read. I know I'm gonna give y'all a fire book to read. So the book y'all must tap into. We live in it and we have to know it. Don't be ignorant and leaning on your own ignorance. This book I'm recommending is a must read for any and everybody, especially if you don't have a foundation in it. The politics books. It's called the politics books. This book is by Paul Kelly. Make sure you tap into the politics books. This gives a great foundation in politics. Learn politics because you have politicians and people that's talking to us as a public and they're playing chess. And as a people, we're playing checkers because we're focused on survival. The people that are making real change and real laws, they are living for ideals and basically teaching us how to live when you can't teach the people how to live because we are the majority as a people. Not saying as far as different race tones, I'm talking about just humans. Most people are not dictating human nature in policy world. We have to learn policy and what policies really affect us as people. So make sure y'all tap into this book just to get your foundation in politics. Again, it's called the politics book, and it's by Paul Kelly. So make sure y'all tap into that book. Love with the French accent. Shout out to Spider Monkey in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Appreciate you for tapping in. If it's your first time in here, it's the Can of Brothers Get a Rap podcast. And I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. Politics book by Paul Kelly. Yes, make sure y'all tap into that book. I'm telling y'all, we need to know this stuff, y'all, because when they start speaking on things and we're like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Find the reason why that they putting it through because it may affect us on this level or that next level. So make sure y'all tap and have a real foundation in politics. It's never too late. All right, y'all, moving on to send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. Y'all know the rules of this game. We type in T to send people to Turkey. We type in N not to. If somebody says some BS, be on some BS, we send them to Turkey over here. It's an inside joke on the show because Turkey has some of the craziest laws we've ever heard of. So again, send them to Turkey or not. Type in T or type in N. All right, y'all. First one of the night. Colorado head coach Deion Sanders have been subject to complaint by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. They're accusing Coach Prime of infusing the football program with Christianity by inviting the chaplain to pray with the team. Are we sending Coach Prime to Turkey for bringing, a chaplain, a person of God, regardless of religion, to bring in to pray with the team before games? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending Coach Prime for that? Again, the Freedom from Religion Foundation is accusing Coach Prime of infusing the football team, with the football program with Christianity by dividing the chaplain to pray with the team. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Malu. No, we shouldn't. Okay, respect that. Respect that. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Type in T to send them to Turkey. Type it in not to send them to Turkey in the chat. Shout out to Ebony. No Turkey. That's crazy. If it's not one thing, it's the other. Okay. Me personally, I'm not going to send them to Turkey. I'm not going to send them to Turkey. And it's a multitude of reasons why. My first reason is this. Some of these kids come from different backgrounds. And some of these kids will find religion. And some of these kids moving forward will find different religions. Knowing about all religions before you decide which one you want to practice is not something that's necessarily being forced on you. You're being exposed to it, but you're not being forced. He's not telling the kids to go study Christianity. He's not going to tell the kids go study Judaism or any other religion. He's bringing in a priest to pray over the team before the game in their health. If all religions feel like their denomination is God, then at the end of the day, the highest, whoever is the highest in your eyes, in your denomination, all that matters is that that prayer is answered, that these kids walk away from this game in great health, in one piece. Whatever religion that they find later on in life, that's what they find. You have a whole bunch of kids that are raised up in certain churches based on their parents' beliefs and their denomination. It could be a family thing where everybody in the family believe in one belief. But growing up in it, a kid could change his mind once he becomes an adult after he receives all the information that he wants to. He may want to grab something from this religion, something from this religion, something from this religion, and basically don't necessarily be religious, but more so be spiritual and reward God the way God should be rewarded through that person's eyes or through his eyes. So the fact that he's bringing in a priest to pray over these young men before they go into battle, before they go into a game where they could walk away paralyzed, where they could walk away with life lost. There was a guy in the NFL that almost lost his life on the field just a year ago. There's been plenty of guys who lost their life on the football field. There's been plenty of guys that lost their life playing basketball, just dropped for, like, we just don't know. So to bring in a priest, regardless of religion, just to hold these young men in prayer and in health, there's nothing wrong with that. And if these young men choose to go into any religion after that, that's their choice based on what their outlet is, not their outlet, but what they're exposed to. And some of these kids may go on their own journey at some point in time. So that's on them. So the fact that they saying that he's forcing it, yeah, y'all forcing it. So I'm not going to send Coach Prime to Turkey on that regard myself. Send him beef just to be safe. Shout out to Chicken. That's funny. I like that. Shout out to Malo Ebony. Okay. No turkey. That's okay. You saying that to Ebony? Okay, no turkey. That's crazy. It's not one thing, it's the other. Exactly. Shout out to Derek in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. This NIA look like okay. Shout out to you. Hit them likes. Hit them 100s. Uh, yes, God is love. So no matter what people call him, it's all the same. Just like humans, the difference is uh, we're in we're our own individuality and culture and language. Very true. Very true. Very true. Uh, Shout out to Hum in the building. Shout out from North Korea. We got North Korea in the building. That's what's up, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s while you're here. We appreciate you. Appreciate you having you. First time tapping in. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, and I am Ashley Lovechild. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next send them the turkey or nah. Send them the turkey or nah. ASAP Rocky. Rapper ASAP Rocky and singer Rihanna reportedly are choosing not to hire a nanny, wanting to raise their kids on their own. Let me know what y'all think about this. Are we sending them to Turkey or not? Are they not new age parents? Do they not care about their children, that they be on the road or whatever? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. That they choosing not to hire a nanny to help out with, duties of raising children. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Vic. Got Vic in the building. He's saying turkey. He's saying send him to Turkey. Yo, Vic is stupid. He saying something to Turkey. Me personally, looking at this, I can't send him to Turkey. I can't send him to Turkey for this, Vic. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't say they wouldn't send them to Turkey, but I'll say they shouldn't send them to Turkey. Me, I can't send them to Turkey. I can't. The reason why I can't send them to Turkey because I don't care if you a celebrity. I don't care if you are the manager or CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Choosing to want to really be there for your children, that matters. And if you have the resource to do it, that also matters. If you don't have to punch a clock for real and you're able to run your business and running your business, you do carry a schedule in itself. I had an ex that used to say stuff like that to me, like, oh, but you run your own business, you can set your own hours. Yes and no. Just because I set my own hours, that doesn't mean I'm not beholden to customers and and things of that nature. So that does yes and no. But when you are a CEO or when you run things or when you're an owner or manager or whatever the case may be, and you're choosing not to hire a nanny, like, let's keep it real. There's not a book to parenting, yo. I say this all the time. There's no book out there that's that lit that you could read it from front to back and you just become a good parent. It doesn't work that way. It's trial and error. As a parent, guess what? You didn't ask to be here neither. You was a kid before as well too. All you can do is your best. And by the time you know it, your kids is grown. And you hope that your kids took the message of you doing your best. That's all you can hope, that they understood all the decisions that you made, whether it was good or bad, whether it was great or terrible, it was all in for their best interest. So all you can do is ask for just a little bit of grace, but not really. It's like you deserve grace because you raised them. You know what I'm saying? So on that aspect, I can't send them to Turkey for that. And mind you, Rihanna financially is super blessed. I mean, she's a billionaire. I believe she's about to have her second or third kid, if I'm not mistaken. So if she chooses not to hire no nannies, like for real, when you're a billionaire, what? I'm a billionaire, dog. Like, what? Go handle that. You know what I'm saying? You when you're a billionaire, you hire CEOs. The CEO is not like the highest of high, y'all. It's the chairman. right? So you can hire CEOs to run companies, management to run companies. And if they don't do a good job, then guess what? They ass get fired. But if you're a billionaire, you're gonna hire somebody that makes millions, and more than likely they're gonna know what the hell they doing. So I don't blame them for that. They will have more time to spend with their family. So I'm not mad at that. So I can't send them to Turkey based on that notion, y'all. Don't kill me in the chat, but you know, yeah, y'all know I never care if y'all kill me because I don't say things for y'all to agree. It just has to be said, right? So, shout out to Malu, human, nice, uh, human ass, nice. Uh, there's no book. That's a Vic. You feel me? There's no book to parenting, bro. There, any I'm trying not to tell my business, but there was a situation when I was younger where I had to go talk to somebody, and I asked him, I said, yo, you trying to give me all this information, but yo, how many kids you got? Inquiring minds wants to know, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, none. Hold up, I'm 18. You well in your 40s. You giving me advice based on your position, and you don't got no kids? But I've been around a lot of children. Been around? And you don't got no kids? You don't got nobody you responsible for? So you ain't never had sleepless nights where you had to make sure, like to make sure that the child is just good. You ain't never had to worry about closing your eyes and where the baby gonna fall off somewhere. You ain't never had to house proof sockets and all types of stuff that comes with the worries of having toddlers and just running around and just don't talk. Ain't no book, dog. Ain't no book. It's trial and error, and all you go is that your kids give you some grace and be like, yo, they tried their best, yo. Cause that's how I look at my parents. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my parents. Shout out to them. Roland and Izetta, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? So there's no book exactly 100%. Because it's never enough. I grew up. I grow my own flowers. Love that. I had an orphan. I had an orphan director. Vic. Let's say this instead. There's no perfect parents. All grown kids would do something different with the next generation and so forth. Very true. Vic, my OD, proud of me. Was good. Shout out to Messiah in the building. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Long as we're breaking chains, have to break chains with systems. I was a teen dad. So was I, my brother. So was I. And there was some people that wasn't rooting for your boy. You know what I'm saying? But my daughter, 23 years old now, going to college. She graduated high school in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I did that. I brought that back. Mr. Marvin Gaye, good evening. Washida in the building, appreciate you for tapping in. As always, going to the beach with the toddlers is no sleep vacation. I'm trying to tell you, man, it's not easy being a parent. And anybody that tells you, yo, you could read this book and this will make you a great parent. No, you could read a book and receive information based on formulas that may impact your child, but you don't know for sure until you feed your child. Some kids don't like their mama's breast milk. I was one of them kids. My mother always used to tell me I had to bring one to Similac, baby. You was spitting that out, kid. All right, you know what I'm saying? Again, every kid is different. My brother, he suck on the titty all day. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm a little different with mine. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is all according to my mom Dukes. So, you know what I'm saying? So all kids is different, and not just all kids are different. You have to give kids different things. You have to teach kids differently. At the end of the day, there's no book to this. So I hate when people say, you could read this book and you could get this result, and everything is like as the parent, you brunt the responsibility, because how your kids turn out, people are like, where's the daddy? Where's the mama? What happened to them? Where they at? What's going on? Like, why the parent not around? So again, there's no book to this shit. So it's not an easy thing to do. You can have 3 kids live in the same house, the same mother and father, get the same ass whooping, the same type of punishment, and all of them would receive different lessons. All of them would receive different lessons. Again, I'm gonna keep it on myself. My brother was the good kid. Well, no, he was the bad kid, but he was a little bit more like respectful of the parents. Me, good kid, but I was more the difficult one to my moms and my father, because I always talk back. I got a lot to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say what I need to say. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to duck and bob and weave. You know what I'm saying? Because my parents was quick with this. So at the end of the day, you could give your kids the same punishment, but they will receive different lessons from it. So, all right, y'all. We're gonna be young, handsome grandpas. Yo, I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? One day, not no day soon. I ain't ready to be a grandpa yet, but when she do, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop grandpa. You know what I'm saying? Call me Elroy. It's Biggs. Shout out to Biggs. We got Biggs in the building. My bro Biggs. I'm the youngest, but the big brother. That is me also. I'm not the youngest. I'm the middle son, but you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Malu. Hey Biggs, your son loves you. Messiah is pretty cool. You have to match energies. True. Now that's a fact. That's what I'm saying. Raising kids is not, and I'm gonna end it here regarding the kid segment. When it comes to wanting to raise your kids, being present in your kid's life, there's no book to that. Each parent parents their kids the way that either they was parented, or in a way that they wasn't parented. So for me personally, the eras that I felt like my parents lacked in, I felt like I really try to make it a point with my daughter. You see what I'm saying? But there was things that my parents excelled in that I wasn't trying to make a point with my daughter, if that makes sense, because I felt like the things that they lacked in needed to be stressed with my daughter. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not only going based on what my daughter needs, but also what I feel like I need to teach her, based on her being a lady, based on her being melanated, and based on her being my child, being of the lineage. So, and I think most parents and most people kind of sort of move in that type of ilk with their own children too. So, but the only thing I will say that I don't like, that I see some parents do, that I think is just an automatic no, no matter how mad you get at your children. I can understand you saying something that has a curse in it, but to call a kid like a little mother effer, you little bastard, like I've heard that before, you little bitch, I've heard that before. I'm like, whoa, that's extra, like 12, 13, like that's crazy. So that's why I'm out on that. Shout out to Ashita. It's about culture, facts. Shout out to Tess in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. Ashley, yup. That's a no-go. Yeah, I'm just not. Again, it's one thing to curse in a sense, like and sometimes you could get so mad that you curse within what you're saying, but to call a kid like you little F, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to say F da 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 da, right? But you don't say F you Corey, or whatever the kid's name, or you little, you know what I'm saying? You're like, you don't direct the curse to them. Like, you're cursing at the situation and not them, if that makes sense. So, it will probably end in a fight if you heard that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all types of stuff on social media. I've seen all types of stuff on social media where grown kids is taping the interaction with their parents. And it's a funny thing about grown kids, and I put that in air quotations because no matter how old you get, when you're dealing with your parent, you still kind of feel like there's the inner child that's still in you when it comes to dealing with them, and y'all have like discord. So, it's kind of interesting when you see that. I would probably in the fight. My son told me to shut the F up once, and he never again. Yeah, I don't play disrespect when it comes to the kids, bro. Like, my daughter know I'm on site, straight, boom, one time. I don't spare the rod. I don't. All respect would be paid around here. Okay. So, if I put my life on the line, then I'm going to test that behind if you play with me. And that's just my motto with the kids. You don't spare the rod. But all kids don't deserve to get ass whoopings. But if a kid tell you shut the F up, their neck is still intact? Like, their lower back is still cool? Nah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Rock bottom is coming. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. It's smoke in the city right now. It's smoke in the city right now in Louisiana. Multiple reports is saying that Brian Kelly, head coach of the LSU Tigers, is on the verge of being fired. They are literally, from multiple reports, are having a staff standoff. And if anybody has ever been in a situation where there's a staff standoff, that means there's some guerrilla activities going on. There's some guerrilla activities going on. Fire who? That's the response when there's a standoff with the staffing. Who you about to fire? Fire who? For what? What? Yeah, nah. Go back to your office. You playing with me. That's not a peaceful thing when there's a standoff. So, and these multiple reports is coming in that Brian Kelly is being fired. Now he's gone 34-14 at LSU, which is a good record. That's a very good record. 34-14 at LSU. That's very good. I like the average LSU fan should be cool with that. That's cool. But I don't necessarily think that's the problem. I think the problem is that they're 34-19 and they're 19-9 in SEC play under his coaching and tutelage. And I think that's the main problem, is that they're really struggling in the SEC. 19-9 at LSU is struggling in the SEC. That is a fact. And I think more so is that his teams have expectations to win. His teams are expected to be high caliber teams. If you look at some of the guys that went on to the NFL just as of recently from LSU, it made you wonder, like, damn, they had all these draft picks and they struggled throughout the year. So, but let's keep this in perspective. The first year he went 9-4. The second year he went 10-3. And last year he went 10-4. This year they're struggling. They lost their last game. They shouldn't have lost their last game. And I had them losing to Texas A&M. But it's more so them losing to Texas A&M at home. And if you know LSU and you know the history of LSU, they don't lose a lot of games at home. That's one of the hardest places you can go to win games. So, so to say that there's a standoff in the staffing lets you know that there's a lot of, dare I say, somebody got two-pieced or something in the office. Something like that may have happened. So and I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about amongst the coaching staff or the administration. Somebody must have got two-pieced when they talk about a staff standoff. That means it didn't go cool. It wasn't cool. So we can see the official report as early as tomorrow morning. of Brian Kelly. So again, I'm not surprised. I never thought he was a good hire for LSU, but it's interesting to me that Brian Kelly could go from, I believe he was at Cincinnati, and he was kicking butt at Cincinnati. Went to Notre Dame. Notre Dame was better than when they was prior to, but they still didn't have that Notre Dame swag like they had in the 80s and the 90s. Goes to LSU because he wanted the chance to win the national championship, and in that regard, he's underperformed. So, I mean, if they want him gone, they're going to really have to do their due diligence on their next quarterback, on their next head coach. They have to look in the realm of coaches at smaller programs who are kicking butt, like Coach Cignetti at Indiana. But Indiana is in the Big Ten. But LSU job is a bigger job than that Indiana job. It would mean more to win. Like I said before, the Big Ten is the Big Ten. The SEC is the SEC. But LSU is a higher profile job than Indiana. But I wouldn't be surprised if the coach don't take that job, because he brought his team to Indiana and they're kicking butt. From Indiana, they could turn Indiana into the next Ohio State, Michigan, if they continue to do this. So, but they will have to look in that type of realm with coaches that are at smaller programs who have an extreme track record of winning and bringing them to LSU, because there's no other big name coach that's going to leave their program to go to LSU. I don't see Debo Swinney as an upgrade from Clemson to go to LSU. That would be terrible in my opinion. So there's no coach right now who's a big name coach that would leave their present position to take the LSU job. I'm just saying, it just won't be a good look. Shout out to Patrick in the building as well. I lost respect for Brian Kelly when he left Notre Dame. Yeah, I never thought he was a great coach like that, to be honest with you. But again, his track record before he got to Notre Dame was outstanding, and it couldn't be denied. ISU got a good lineman and tackles. Brandon, shout out to Brandon. Broncos, also Broncos must got that W. I said Broncos will win. I'm going to talk about that a little later on in the show. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit them likes, hit the 100s in the chat. It helps with the engagement of the show. But yeah, so again, this was being reported by multiple reports, and he's not going quietly. But it's funny to me that he's first in line from reports to get the Penn State job. And it's like, dude, if you can't win at LSU, you can't win at Penn State, bro. Penn State may not have the history of LSU. Like, seriously, they may not have the history of LSU when it comes to winning and playing national championships as of right now. But Penn State program overall is a blue blood. It's a blue blood. You can't tell the story of college football without Penn State. Penn State overall probably won more games overall than LSU. That matters. But LSU have won more championships. They have more Heisman Trophy winners and so on and so forth. They've had really good players, like really good draft picks. So that also matters as well. Same as Penn State. They have a history having a lot of guys in the draft and so on and so forth. But who's the harder team to play? Penn State or LSU? It's LSU. So if you can't win at LSU, you're not gonna and to me, Penn State is a higher profile job than LSU only because it's a blue blood. LSU is like borderline blue blood. And that's mainly because of their national championships that they've won. Heisman Trophy winner. So I still think Penn State is a higher class job. So if you go from LSU to Penn State, even if you went from Penn State to LSU, I can't do it. Can't do it. I don't even think he should have been able to go from Notre Dame to LSU. How do you not really win for real at Notre Dame, but You want to go to LSU? Like what? That makes no sense. But that's the reports on that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is fully on board to abolish property tax for Florida homeowners of their personal property. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is fully on board to getting property tax abolished for Florida owners, and is for their Florida property tax for their personal property. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Don't forget that them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. Let me know in the chat. I'm fully on board with this. I love this. I love this. I'm glad he's on board. That's one thing I could say about Ron DeSantis, is that all the things that he does or try to get done for Florida, you don't hear Florida people complaining. If we in the state of Florida can now buy property, and if it's our personal property, we no longer have to pay personal taxes on that property. That's a win. That's a W. What are we talking about? Whoa, that's a W. For those who don't know, when you buy your home, right? Most people think after you buy your home, whether it's 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, whatever the case may be, then that means you go out. No. You're still not safe. After you pay your home off, your mortgage off, you always have to pay. You always have to pay property tax. And if you don't pay your property tax after you done paid 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 for your house, the bank could take your house because you don't pay property tax. So for your personal property, not all properties, but for your personal property that you live in, and I know most people, not most people, but some people have multi-locations, they multi-properties, cool. But for the one you live in throughout the year mostly, whether it's 7 months and more, this is a beautiful thing, especially for Florida. Especially for Florida. Because at the end of the day, like, shout out to the chat. Like, at the end of the day, how can people maintain a lifestyle when they live in check to check, and a part of engaging in the lifestyle is being able to have an industry for that lifestyle? And if there's an industry for it, but the people don't have the money, then guess what? That industry dies. And that industry not just attract locals, but it's an attraction for people to come from all over the place. So if those die, then people won't have the money on. So if this is a way that people could save their money not having to pay property tax after they done paid their house off, this would be even a bigger incentive to get people to pay off their house. Yo, if you pay off your house, after you pay off your house, you don't have to pay no property tax. That's your crib. And you Gucci. He's not even saying that right now. He's just saying for that personal house, regardless if you pay it off or not, because in hopes we are paying it off, you won't have to pay property tax for that house. I mean, either way, it's a win in my opinion. Either way. And I think this will shift, and it will be a big uptake in the economy in Florida. And y'all saying it in the chat, like, for those who don't know, like, Florida is expensive. Most people think Florida is cheap. Certain parts of Florida is cheap, but majority of Florida is not cheap. It's good. It's good in a way to make sales go up, but they'll change it again when they have more people in the lock. Florida is low-key expensive. This would help. Yes, it's a business strategy. It is. In politics. Remember I told y'all to read that book of politics, having a foundation in politics. Yes. If something like this happens in one state, should it be happening in every state? No. And that's the purpose on being state to state, especially in the state of Florida. If you realize the state of Florida move at its own beat. State of Florida was one of the states, if not the only state, when it came down for people having to take the jab. It was mandatory for people to take the COVID. Florida was like, DeSantis was like, hell no, baby. No way, baby. It's not mandatory over here, baby. We move at our own beat, and if you try to make us do it, we're gonna sue y'all for doing it. He's also suing the insurance company too. I'm gonna talk about that later, but again, this will help immensely with the economy because people are spending at minimum on property tax per year $5,000 to $7,000 on property tax. That means you gotta pay this all at one time while you're paying your mortgage month to month, but there's property tax that come up that you have to pay for. And it gets adjusted year to year based on how many people live on your block, the different things that's going on in that particular neighborhood. So it could be as low as $5,000, it could be as high as 15, 20, depending on the neighborhood, it could be even higher. So the fact that for your personal property in Florida, if this goes through, we're no longer required to pay property tax. If it's green, it's a go. And I love it. I love it. Should it be happening for every... And should it happen for every state? And see, here's the thing about every state, right? And I talked about this on a previous show. Every state have their own local economy, their own attraction that affects the state. So some states depend on those property taxes to help with, they're based in the community, in the community of the money when it comes to the financial space, how the state generates the money, right? A place like Florida, people always come to Florida, whether it's vacation, whether it's to live, whether it's to pop in and out. We always got something going on fly in Florida, right? And I'm born and raised from Brooklyn, New York, but I moved to Florida. This is my 10th year in Florida. I moved to Florida for quality of life. I love Brooklyn. I love New York, and the nostalgia sense in the back of my mind. But the quality of life in New York is trash. It's trash. That's why I moved out of New York. I make more money in New York City. I make more money in New York City, way more than I make in Florida. Way more. With my businesses and everything I got going on, I would make way more money in New York. So you would think I would live in New York. I would have the same type of lifestyle in New York. But in Florida, the quality of life is different. You can have a nice car in Florida and park the motherfucker and not having to worry about bumper to bumper parking like how you do in New York. New York is crazy. It's tickets all over the place. There's parking tickets. You can't park here. You can't park there. You got to move your car by 8 a.m. You got to move your car by 7:30 a.m. It's like, what? The quality of life in New York City for me is terrible. So, that's why I moved from Brooklyn to Florida. But like I said, if he put this through, I would be elated for this. My mother was born in Florida. Politics like the ones they playing in Florida, Walt Disney, who I think about when I hear Florida. That's a fact. That's a fact. Walt Disney wasn't put in Florida just because. It was a reason behind that. But it helped the economy in a different type of way in the area of Orlando. And most people don't realize with Florida is very big. And I hate when people that I know come to Florida and be like, yo, pull up on me, bro. I'm in Florida. I'm like, oh, where you at? They're like, yo, I'm in Tampa or I'm in Miami. Bro, I'm in Orlando. Do you know how far Orlando is from Miami? Yo, but I'm only going to be here for 3 days. So what? I don't care. And you in South Beach on top of that? Oh, so you a little further down. So you mean to tell me you cool with me driving 8 hours going back and forth? Because that's a 4-hour drive. 3.5. But you got to stop, got to eat, got to pee, gas and all that. That's about 8 hours going back and forth. So you cool with me dropping everything down and going 8 hours. That's like living in Brooklyn and somebody calling you in Baltimore like, yo, I'm in Baltimore, bro, pull up. What? Tampa is not far, but you got to be in the mood to drive to Tampa from Orlando. You got to be in the mood for that. You know what I'm saying? It's not far, but you got to be in the mood because you got to basically drive an hour and a half going and coming. That's about 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the mood to make that drive. You just don't do that on the whim. You know what I mean? And then if you in Jacksonville, if you in Miami and somebody call you, talking about, yo, I'm in Jacksonville, pull up. You look at their phone like, yo, go kill yourself. What are you talking about, bro? I'm in Tallahassee, bro. Look up how long it takes to get from Miami to Tallahassee. Go look it up. Go look up how long it takes to get from Orlando to Tallahassee. Jerk. So Florida is huge, but this will be big for Florida, though. This will be big for Florida. I would love that. If it happens everywhere else will have to become Florida, which everywhere else is not Florida. They don't provide the same quality of life. Just like Texas. Texas have a different quality of life that they present to people that is like, yo, so you mean to tell me I could get this mansion over here for $250,000, but I have to get a high insurance on my house because I have to possibly worry about flooding if I live in areas like Houston. See what I'm saying? But they overbuild everything in Texas. So you could get a mansion for $250,000, $300,000 in certain places in Texas. That's a fact. Atlanta, places like Atlanta, the reason why Atlanta or Georgia in itself is so popular, even though it's not generous to melanated people, the reason why it's so attractive to us is because you get these big grand houses for cheap. $250,000, $300,000. Right now, it's probably, you can get you a big 4-bedroom house, pull-up garage, a pool in the back, you know, fully loaded for about $350,000 in Atlanta or Georgia in itself. About $350,000. Big spot. It look crazy. So that quality of life. But in Georgia, you got to pay taxes. In Texas, you don't. You don't pay no state taxes. So, see what I'm saying? That's how that works. Shout out to the chat. Who made it that way? The local politicians, the big politicians, has been like that since the beginning. Like, that's what I'm saying. All of these laws is man-made. It's man-made. All of these laws can be changed. All of these houses don't have to be $200,000, $350,000. They don't. They choose to be. If you ever looked up how much houses was in 1941, matter of fact, I'm going to go back to like 1974. A lot of houses in 1974 wasn't $350,000. My grandma, pop, mima, grandpa got the house for like $25,000. The whole house, the 5 bedrooms, the attic, the basement, the garage, the pull-up, all that for 25 stacks. Now that same house, same square footage, oh, that's $450 just off rip. It's all man-made. It's all man-made. Money is also made up, by the way. I say that all the time. I agree with you, Rashid. I say that all the time. In this country, we have so much money that we have to burn it, and we burn money daily. We burn millions of dollars daily. That's how much money we have. There's something called old bills, and if the denomination is too old, that means the circulation will be out of whack. It'll be out of whack, and they have to burn the money because the circulation is too old. Money. Print it so we can have it. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know if y'all familiar with the movie People Under the Stairs. There's a scene in the movie when the little boy gets all the way down to the basement and he finds the guy's treasure. And this dude had all the money in the world in the basement. He had gold coins. He had he had basically like billions of dollars in that damn basement. And this movie came out in the late 80s, early 90s. Fire movie, but it's a classic movie, by the way. Shout out to Wes Craven. Fire movie, by the way. But yeah, all that money is made up. That's not our fault. That's the government fault. Well, yes and no, because you got to understand the government foundation is not based on the betterment of the people in this country. That's why I'm so glad that we are loud and proud and learning politics so that way we could speak on it properly. Because if we don't have the inherent knowledge, then we can't call on it. Like, yeah, nah, if we do this, then this would affect this politician. You get what I'm saying? And it's not just the presidency, is more so local. If you could affect local change, then as you can see, Florida, we move at our own drum, right? Opposed to any other state. Mind you, every other state has also different, um, they have different accent. I'm saying it wrong. They have different um, the age of consent. And a part of the different age of consent is not just being based in perversion, but it's also based in economy. Certain areas certain areas in the USA, the age of consent is lower in some areas because their local economy depends on the workers in that economy. So, you 16, guess what? You grown now. So now you can work this job without having the consent of your parent. Because we need you to work to help the economy. But also on the flip side of that, it's perverted because if somebody's 16 and they don't need their parent to work for real, now you're giving them consent to do shit that they not really ready for mentally and physically. So it would have to change all across the board if in the frame that you're bringing it. And it's all man-made. And it's all man-made. A shout out to Philly Phil in the chat. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. Philly Phil. Philly Phil. It just disappeared on me. His comments. I don't. Okay, you can't get no damn mansion for no $200,000 in Texas. That's a baby house. Bro, you talking semantics, my guy. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Why? Whether it's 200,000, 300,000, you know what I'm talking about, dude. You know what I'm talking about. Philly Phil, stop. Stop. I'm from Brooklyn. We from shoeboxes. A 3-4 bedroom house can easily get you 3,500 square feet if we want to be technical. Stop playing. I know this stuff, bro. Stop playing with me. I know this stuff. 3,500 square feet easily in Texas. Easily. At one time, it was 200,000 before the stock market. I mean, before the housing market went back up. Stop it. I know this for a fact, and especially in places like Houston and Austin. Stop, bro. San Antonio. I know this for a fact. It was some time ago. It was about probably like 10 years ago, but 10 years ago is not necessarily a long time ago. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. I want to be technical and shit. God damn it. Shout out to Malu, Patrick. Well, public schools, there's no place for no kids. We should just think differently to create better. Okay, I don't get time to play with them bullies. You know the history on Florida. I know that. Running people out of their home, making it more better by laws, just get to me every time. Patrick also, parents can guarantee no teachers being 100% is absolutely horrible that parents feel forced to follow the matrix and end up leaving their kids to disagree, Malu. I'm a product of public school and one of the worst in the area in the South Bronx, and I made it happen. Yo, I ain't gonna front. I feel you on that, Patrick. You know what I'm saying? I went to one of the worst junior high schools in Brooklyn. It's one of the worst. But we was some smart kids up in that school. I was in a gifted class and all that, you know what I'm saying? And I made it out, you know what I'm saying? But I get the point that Malu making that there's a difference between being the what they call, there's the norm and there's like exceptions to the rule, right? and we're the exceptions. You know what I'm saying? So the exception is not the norm. But there's a lot of great things going on in the local schools. I'm a product of it. You know, taught me a lot of helpful things in life. Shout out to Rashida 536. That was deep. That movie was deep. Patrick, I disagree. No parents are in public schools with their kids. That's cool. Contrast. Okay. Uh, I mean, in the schooling system, I went to both. I've been in private school and I've been in public school. I had a bit of time in public school. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I was with my folks, my peoples in there. You know what I'm saying? I had a better time at my local school, and I felt more. It was more sense of community at my local school. I think majority of the kids that went to my local school in junior high school, we was good kids, but we was rough. We was street kids. We fought. We inherently was just smart, like smart kids. Like so, like I said, the exception to the rule, and we had teachers that gave a damn. I think that's what it was in my school in particular. I had teachers that gave a damn about us. You know, so you know, so I think it's different for everywhere. You know what I mean? But what I do agree upon when it comes to schooling, schooling is not to be smart. It's not a place where you learn to go be smart. School is for interacting and engaging, learning how to interact and engage with peers. That's what school is for. You have to learn how to engage with your peers. You have to learn where you're at in society. Your parents could tell you where you're at in society, but when you go to school, hey, the first thing you realize as a guy, oh, I'm not the tallest person in the class. So you realize your pecking order in height, right? Because stand up by height class, right? When it comes to the opposite sex, if you think you rough looking and like you don't never really look at yourself like that, when you get to school, all the girls like, hey, you want this extra little pudding? You know what I'm saying? I got a sandwich you can eat. You know what I'm saying? You want to, you know what I'm saying? So you realize, oh, all right, I'm kind of cute. All right, cool. Like, so we learn our peer bonding or peer engaging through school. Kids can learn straight from home if we really want to be honest. But that's what schooling is there for. You know, I seen that more prevalent during, I would say, COVID, when the kids was all from school. And after like 4 or 5 months, the kids went crazy because they didn't have engagement with kids their own age on a regular basis. Like I'm kind of different. I always look forward to school because it's like, yo, I get to go get my learn on. Yeah, that's whatever, cool. That's a part of it. But I get to chill with my bros, my homies. I got some, I got a couple of, ladies, you know what I'm saying? So it was always a show, you know what I'm saying? So me personally, I love school for that aspect. But shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all are super engaging. That's not one parent, but society in all. Malu, guess I'm old school and from a different era. We agree to disagree. 100% Patrick. Yeah, I mean, again, each parent and each person have their own outlook on schooling, which is fine. It's just as long as the kid gets the lesson. That's my biggest thing. But shout out, I gotta say this, yo. Shout out to Miss Vernon. Shout out to Miss Alberton. And shout out to Mr. Keaton. Those are some of my teachers I remember throughout my childhood that, you know what I'm saying, always kept it a buck with me. Mr. Keaton, because he was the first thugged out teacher I had. He wore glasses. He was, real, like, I won't say nerdy looking, but, he had like a real calm demeanor, but he was super thugged out. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Mr. Keaton, wherever he's at. He was super thugged out, and that was a thugged out school, so he couldn't play with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the good kids was the good kids and the bad kids was the bad kids, but yo, Mr. Keaton was kind of thugged out. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? He always kept it a beat. Shout out to Miss Vernon, because, Miss Vernon gave me my appreciation for reading novels and how to pick out just different symbols and learning how to really dissect stories. And that was like in the 7th grade. So shout out to Miss Vernon. And shout out to Miss Alberton, my 10th grade teacher. my algebra teacher, once she done taught me the game, my math was just on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? It was always mathing on a whole nother level, you know? So, shout out to those teachers, you know what I'm saying? All product of the public school system, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to them, you know what I'm saying? And that's all true, y'all. That's all true. That's all true. I tell my son to remember everything you meet is meet in school. Shout out to Junior in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. But yeah, but private school wasn't experiencing it. So in private school one time, my crazy ass, I told you I was kind of touched as a kid. I took a marker and I marked up the whole bathroom with my tag name at the time. And I just marked up the whole bathroom in big letters. And I did it like really nice, by the way, too. I was kind of skillful at the time. And it was big. I covered up the whole bathroom. And the principal came and got me. This is in private school, you know what I'm saying? He took me to the bathroom, pointed at the wall, was like, who's Speedy and Kid Rocket? Word around town, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm caught. Like, I don't even know how you knew about that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I did that, you know what I'm saying? Your mother still work at Supreme Court? Yeah, she still work at Supreme Court. Oh, all right, you good to go back to class. All right, so, you know what I'm saying? So private school, I guess if you write the checks, you know what I'm saying? It's cool, you know what I'm saying? So, and I never heard of it from my mother. I don't even think my mother ever knew. So, you know what I'm saying? That was my private school experience, you know what I'm saying? Just bad, you know? Shout out to Wishida, have experience that help them grow up together well, respectfully. Not the school they can raise, not the school not the school they can raise somebody's child. Hell no, we can raise our own children. Yes. Patrick agrees. Rashida, I agree. Milo, Rashida, grown-ups have hard time being respectful, so how can you think we could learn in school 100%? Like I said, I'm a huge believer. Even though I learned some stuff in school, school is just not for learning. That's not the foundation of school, in my opinion. The foundation of school is peer bonding, learning how to be and learning in your place in life. You know what I'm saying? But school can help, you know, if you meet great teachers that could cut through the knife and peel those layers. You know what I'm saying? I was a difficult student, and I was smart too. That's what made it worse. I told the teacher to shut up one time because he was teaching on the board. I'm like, yo, shut up. Like, get on my nerves, man. So I was just terrible. All right, y'all. Moving on to the next one. I'm telling too much of how I used to be as a kid. Shout out. Moving on to our next hot topic. Cash Money and No Limit verses. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Cash Money and the No Limit verses. I'm going to keep it cute with the Cash Money and No Limit verses. I'm not going to be long-winded about this at all. I will say this. I loved it for the culture. Cash Money and No Limit is very underrated in the culture of hip-hop. They have not only a place, but they are a mainstay in hip-hop. You can't tell the story of hip-hop without talking about Cash Money and No Limit. And some people say Cash Money, Young Money. I'm talking about just Cash Money, because Cash Money was the foundation. Cash Money was the guys that brought a different type of energy from the other Southern guys, and it was just cool. The first time I seen Juvenile, they running through the ghettos of New Orleans, and the video is just so fire because they running the whole video. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the hot boys, like that video was just so fire. So, and it just takes me back to a place when I was a little kid, and I was like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn, they from New Orleans, but it didn't matter. The location didn't matter. I just identified myself with their struggle. So that was fire in itself. And then they shining with the bling bling and all that. And even though they wasn't the first artist to rock gold, but the way they did it and the way they shined it, They was the first to really like put it on, like, I don't want to say wax, but they just took it to another level. But there's plenty of artists that wore a lot of big gold and they took it to the next level when they had it on. They was the first rappers for real to rap about the gold that they had on. So that's what makes that different. But you can't tell the story of hip hop without Cash Money. No Limit, not only just from the music standpoint, but from a business standpoint. I don't think Master P get his flowers for real. Artists now, we can't make the money that we make now. We make the money that we do now because of him. And a lot of things that he did as a rap artist, not as an R&B act, not as an urban act, but as a rap artist from the South. Without him, the business of hip hop would not be the same. So shout out to obviously guys like Jay-Z. But Master P is at every bit of that table, every bit of that conversation. Without him, we don't have a measuring stick pause where we could say, yo, we could do what he's doing, or we could take it a step further and really be owners. Like Master P was like the first like hip hop owner for real that I seen as a rapper. Like, mind you, like, yeah, Jay-Z was doing this thing and he was set to be the CEO, but Master P he showed it, not just in the music, in the movies, the clothing. Like, yo, he had he had a sports agency before he even became a player. He even played in the NBA for a couple of preseason games. Matter of fact, Master P is the head coach of New Orleans University right now. What am I talking about? He's still affecting the game. He's the head coach right now of New Orleans University. Master P. So No Limit not only affect the South, it affects all hip hop. So the fact that they had this verses, I loved it. But I didn't like it on the aspect that they had it in Las Vegas. And I get it. Some people say, well, they are top tier artists, so they could perform anywhere, everywhere, and they get love. True. But it don't hit the same if it's not where it started, which is New Orleans. For No Limit, even though Master P was based out of Richmond, California, he's from New Orleans. Cash Money is from New Orleans. And I know the history of New Orleans and their particular projects had pre-existing beef way back then. These are the OGs now. These are grown ass men that not only have the ability to affect for negative, but also for positive. If you see Master P, he's always been about positivity. So you mean to tell me that these two moguls, when it comes to Birdman and Master P, they can't have a concert in their home city without anybody beefing from each side? They don't have that type of power? Nah, I don't agree with that at all. They have the type of power to party and celebrate together without there being beef. And if they don't have that power, then they're not that powerful. And I don't believe that. They're both powerful guys, especially in New Orleans. So at the end of the day, it should have been in New Orleans. I think this would have been a party. If you've ever been I've been to New Orleans several times within the last 3 years. It's become damn near like a second home to me. I have a great time in New Orleans every time I go there. This for New Orleans would have been crazy. It would have been crazy. And I shouldn't say New Orleans, I should say New Orleans, because, you know, it's New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? If you hit the town, they're going to say New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it proper, New Orleans. It's New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? I think this would have been better in New Orleans with their friends, family, and of course that hip-hop culture that's already in New Orleans, and it would have been even more fire. The only thing that's kind of like, is mystical. Because as an artist, Mystical is popping. But for what he's been in jail for, I can't get jiggy with it. I don't know nobody that could get jiggy with it. But it's a shame that he's more so known for that opposed to what he was really great at. And that's probably like the only kicker from that. But people underestimate Cash Money's discography, and they super underrate No Limit discography. So I thought Cash Money, even though they have a good discography, I thought No Limit won the verses. But it's a win for New Orleans, and it would have been better if it was in New Orleans. And I feel that, I honestly feel when you have an event in your state, the rapper, the artist that's from your state, and they embody the state, they should be rapping at these events. Like, I remember I was watching a Detroit playoff game, and they had Jello Ball rapping his new song at the time. And I get it. The song is the hottest thing going at that time, but that's whack. One, he wasn't ready for the moment. Two, he's not a Detroit artist. And three, if he's going to perform at the end because it's the hottest song going at that time, cool. But open it up with a Detroit artist that has the pulse and the energy of the city. You have this in Las Vegas? Nah. Now, mind you, they pulled it off in Las Vegas because they're veteran artists and they know how to perform. And I wasn't dissing Jello, just he wasn't ready to perform. He's not a performer yet. Or he wasn't a performer when that song first came out. So it was it was just a terrible judgment of having him perform, especially without somebody that doesn't have the pulse of Detroit. So at the end of the day, love the verses for who it was and what it was, but it could have been, I agree with the chat, it could have been done a whole lot better. Could have been done a whole lot better, me personally. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Our men not really in the positions that they're saying that they're in. Las Vegas was the best place for that whack. I don't think it's whack. Shout out to Keith, bro. I don't think it's whack. Ain't not so-called African. Ain't so-called African getting flowers for real. Are you a basketball athlete? Shout out to Sit. Shout out to Sit in the building. Appreciate you tapping and hit them likes at the 100s. I used to play 3 sports. I grew up boxing, and then I started playing football and basketball when all the way to college. Okay, I read that. They should have had it where the Saints played football. They should have had it there. They should have had it there. That would have been fire. It's not adding up. Yeah, at the end of the day, man, money rules the world, and a lot of these people that choose to have these venues, they really either get these venues for better pricing, so they could have the venue in Vegas to say they had it in Vegas, and the venue will comp them like, yeah, so if you have it here, we're gonna give you some rooms, we're gonna give you this, we're gonna give you that, we're gonna set you up in this performance hall, and boom, 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 boom. So a thing like Versus, venues present what they can offer. You see what I'm saying? So if a venue in Cleveland or something like that wants to hold Versus, they can, just as long as they comp their rooms and the actual place that they holding it. So that's how Versus are able to hold these at different venues. If they wanted to have it in New Orleans, they could have had it, but they probably would have had to pay for the venue. But if they would have went and did their research, they wouldn't have had to pay for no venue. They wouldn't have had to pay for no venue, because they got plenty of venues in New Orleans that could hold that type of crowd, and it would have been every bit of fire. And they wouldn't have charged them, or wouldn't have charged them that much, because when you bring in those type of artists, you're going to get merchandise money, you're going to get drink money, you're going to get door money. Like, they would have been making money hand over fist for that. So they more likely wouldn't even charge them for that. So, but that's how they work it. It's all about the money. Shout out to Keith. Las Vegas was the best place. Okay, he said that. It's not adding up. So why is it freezing up? So I'm gonna try this one. So they So they get lazy. Well, I don't want to say they get lazy. It's more so out of business. If you are an event, if you are an event planner and you can have an event at one place, but you have to pay for it opposed to having it at another place and you don't, most people gonna go for the lesser overhead. So that's how that works. Shout out to JB. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, weirdo. uh, Rashida, I know. Yeah, that's a fact. Let me go back up. I have to look here. I'm trying to look on my other stuff. I missed a couple of y'all chats. African man, blah blah blah. All right, I seen that. Thoughts ongoing. For me, I would have loved to go into their verses if it was in New Orleans. Like I said, I've been there several times in the past few years, and I have a great time each time. So, and the locals always be like, bro, you really be having a good time here? It's dangerous here. I'm like, bro, I grew up in hell. I'm comfortable in the most craziest places, brother. Like, so, and they always show me a lot of love in New Orleans, man. For real. You could go and have a good time in New Orleans, for real. For real. You just got to know how to move, though. Got to know how to move. I wish she did. It's not an excuse, though. But yeah, like the whole thing with the verses is all business related. So that's why they more likely had it in Vegas. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Former football player Cam Newton gets into a confrontation with a team mascot on the Alabama A&M team. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat if you haven't seen that video. I've seen that video several times on social media. Cam Newton is an interesting dude. He's an interesting dude. I will say this, though. Getting into an altercation with the mascot is never a good look. And especially when it wasn't intended to do that, because the mascots was racing each other. And Cam Newton was basically embracing the mascot that he was rooting for and showing that mascot some love. And the other mascot pretty much like confronted him like by knocking his hat off, because you know Cam Newton always rocked the big hats. And Cam Newton slapped the mascot, but he brought that thing from here. You know what I'm saying? He brought that thing from Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere. You know what I mean? To only slap like 20 pounds of just straight mascot mask, like, you know. So that was funny in itself. It was very weird. It was very weird. And then another football player, I can't think of his name right now, but he had to basically come and like get the mascot like, yo, chill, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, chill. So it was just like a weird interaction. You know what I mean? Like, he was probably feeling away because he lost the race. And he was even more mad because Cam Newton was celebrating with the mascot. So it was just a weird interaction. Like, he's been getting into some weird things. So it looked crazy. I will say that it looked crazy. And if it's not one, like somebody said that in the chat earlier, if it's not one thing, it's another with Cam Newton at this point. So we've been through so much, we can now have a seat. AI built invest made surface of our child's their potential. Sit back and watch. God got this. 100%. Cam Newton is a bit of a goofy. Sports jerseys over dress shirts. That's his style. You know what I'm saying? That I went to school with a dude that used to do this in college. He used to wear basketball jerseys over his button-ups. And we used to flame his ass. Pause. Oh, pause. Whoa. That sounds crazy. But we used to joke on him crazy for wearing basketball jerseys over his button-ups. And obviously, I'm from Brooklyn, and the school that I went to was a state college. Well, one of the schools I went to was a state college, or a state university, I should say. But a lot of the guys that was from the state of New York, they used to dress a certain kind of way. And the guys from the city, we dressed the way you're supposed to dress. And this guy that was from the state used to wear these button-ups, you know what I'm saying? With the basketball jersey on top. I'm like, yo, bro, that's nasty. That's nasty. And you know Cam Newton has something on like that elk in that elk when this altercation happened. That's just how he dressed. You know what I'm saying? That's how he dressed. You know, it's not for me to like it. It's not for any other dude to like it. It's for the women to like. So if they like it, hey man, hey man. But he can never diss nobody on their style though. I have to say that. Like that just look crazy. But yeah. Shout out to the chat. I think the youth who play basketball for the school should be getting paid now. You shouldn't have to wait for a scholarship to go to college, or that you should be optional, using your energy now, using you for now, using your use for now. I love oversized hoodies. If I can swim in it without water, I'm good. I'm big on, I ain't gonna hold you, I'm big on oversized t-shirts. Oversized t-shirts, oversized jerseys. I'm still big on my oversized jerseys, but I have to have it fitted in the arms somewhere, you know what I'm saying? It gotta be fitted somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm big on the oversized t-shirts still, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. But the button up with the jersey combination is nasty work. But that's not important about the story, is that he got into an altercation with the mascot. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Ben the Don, a streamer, got into a mid. I'm sorry. Ben the Don, streamer, got jumped during mid skid while streaming on Twitch. And he almost came out of character on that one too. I seen that video. He almost came out of character. He was basically doing, it looked like a Uber ride or something like that that he normally does, or something like that, where he give people rides. And the two young men that he had in his car just, you know, they was on a whole nother type of time. And they start hitting him from the back, and he's in character speaking, you know, broken English and Spanish. You know what I mean? Like if you ever been in New York, you find people who speak broken English and Spanish. And they hitting him, and he's jumping in. And so it is kind of funny. When it gets a little like, whoa, this is getting real, is when they get out the car, and now they start like kind of trying to punch him through the front door, and now he's punching back, like, and you can tell he's punching to connect, and now he's about to come out of character. Yo, this man was coming out of character, like, yo, them skits get dangerous, bro. I mean, all views ain't good views, my G. That's all I gotta say. Like, that was crazy. But what y'all think about that in the chat? Like, it was kind of funny, only because he was like, the more they hit him, the more he was like breaking out of character. That's what made it. That's what made that funny. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Like, so I don't know if y'all familiar with Ben the Don, the streamer, but again, during his skit that he does, like a Lyft or Uber type of skit, his passengers was unloading on him a little bit. So, yo, just be careful out there, man. It's all good. It's all good until it's not. So be very careful with them skits. All right, y'all. Moving on to the next hot topic. After 32 years, MetroCard era is coming to a complete end. Sales will stop on December 31st, 2025. Omni replacement. Omni will replace medical. Omni will replace MetroCards. They're new. They're contractless fares, and it's a system that's allowed riders to pay by tapping a contactless credit or debit card, smartphone, a wearable device, or a special dedicated Omni card. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that, chat. Do y'all love it for New York or not? After 32 years, MetroCard is coming to an end. Shout out to the chat. Love Auto, no. Love and loyalty on anyone. Road rage, never use their mind. Hi, Grandpa. Shout out to Poem. Hi, Grandpa. Look, I'm on TV. Damn. I'm riding too fast. Yeah, you know what's funny? I remember when MetroCard first started. That's crazy, right? And so MetroCard haven't been around forever, right? You know what I'm saying? And I know some people gonna try to play me, right? But MetroCard haven't been around forever. We was cool with the old system back in the day when you had a fare, you had your little ticket or your card or whatever the case may be. We was cool with the bus pass and the train pass. We was cool with that. Tokens was cool. But them having this, we are in a new era. Most people don't carry cash or change on them, so this would make sense. The only thing that I'm worried about this contact use for New Yorkers is that if you're using your device to get through and move through the system, how do you know that that device is not recording other things on your phone, like your personal information, your pictures, your accounts? How do we know that somebody can't hack that and gain information and be able to use that information for them and against you? So that's like my only gripe with that, because everything is going to basically card based, and we keep lessening the value of cash. And what the US also needs to do is incentivize having cash again, because the more we go away from cash, the less and less our dollar is going to be worth. Just to give y'all an understanding, right, on why that matters. A dollar in the US is not much. It's not much. You can't buy much with $1, right? But you could get knickknacks, right? When you go to other countries, that matters. So basically what I'm saying to you is, let's say a country like Colombia, every dollar is like worth like $3 to $4 out there. That's the currency out there. So if you give somebody a 20 in American money in Colombia and certain other places, that's like, yo, you gave me big, like you just gave me like $50. Thank you, appreciate that. So the value of our dollar matters, and unless we keep going away from it, the less and less the value of the dollar is going to be. So we got to do a better job as a country in making our dollars great again as well. Value in cash. I don't care if people are going away from cash. Incentivize people for having cash. My father always used to tell me, never walk out the house without money in your pocket. And he was talking about cash. I had an uncle that never walked out the house without a certain amount of money. Always had a certain amount of money on him, always. We got to incentivize our people having cash. We got to do it, because we can't let the value of the dollar die. And that matters to us as well too, because if we make money and we spend our money, then what we spend our money on is not going to be as valuable. Make our dollars matter. Back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, having $1, you could make $5.25 back in the day in them times and have you a house. People are making $20, $30, $40 an hour now and can't get them no house now. But back then you could work $5 or $6 an hour. You could have a house back then. It's the value of the dollar. So we got to find a way to make it great again. Shout out to Gage in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. Shout out to Malo. Everyone chill out. Shout out to Lovely. Knickknacks. Yes, that's a fact. You get them knickknacks. Shout out to Gage. For those just joining, the host is discussing the brave journey. Okay. Shout out to Washida 536. Shout out to Lovely. Can't even buy knickknacks in the US. I'm trying to tell you, if from $1, it went from $1, $1.25, $1.15, $1.50, right? I'm gonna sound real old if I tell you what I used to buy with $1 when I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? Good time with $1, you know. Gage, I remember you from the homeless shelter. I used to volunteer at. Shout out to Gage. She's in here cracking jokes. Shout out to you. And if that was me, which it wasn't, I wouldn't be ashamed of it. And would that be something you will hold against somebody? Shout out to Gage. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. That's crazy. Homelessness is a joke. Heard you. If that was me, that's okay. Shout out to Washida. I can't with the it, you know, he's trying to be funny, so it's a good try. Now this 4 bags of chips, 4 bags of chips. I didn't want to say it, Spider Monkey. I didn't want to say it. For a whole dollar, I'm gonna have to say, because Spider Monkey has said something. For a whole dollar, my order would look like this. Give me a 50-cent soda, pink Tropicana, just to be exact, a bag of chips, and the chocolate for 25 cents. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm going with mine. That's why I was going with mine, you know? That's why I'm going with mine. 2 cakes and the chips. The cakes was different type of time. The cookies, little 50-cent, 25-cent cookies was different at the time. You know what I'm saying? And don't let me have $1.50. Don't let me have an extra 50 cent. Because not only I'm getting a 50-cent soda, I'm getting 2 chips, I'm getting the full grown size candy bar for 50 cents. Straight good time right there. And I was cool. So yeah. Not to mention the dollar fries. I don't know if y'all remember the dollar fries from the Chinese store. Just a good time, man. You know, we got to make our dollars great again. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Eric Ernest, Marvis Farley, Shane Hanen, Jonte Porter, Terry Rozier, Damon Williams, Chauncey Billups, along with members of the Gambino family, the Lucchese family, and several other mob families are all under investigation due to sports gambling and betting, and is pretty big at this point in time. They arrested several of these NBA players, former players, coaches, all with the intent of betting, having inside non-public information on NBA teams, and betting on these games from players either sitting out and speaking ahead of throwing games. A guy like Terry Rozier, you see his video out right now where they showed the actual game that he's playing in, that they suspected of him basically throwing the bet. And these bets was what's called prop bets. Prop bets is normally for performance of the athletes, whether this athlete is going to get 30 points or 10 rebounds or 2 blocks. So if any of y'all familiar with basketball, shout out to Victor Wembanyama. He's been balling out. So for a guy like Victor Wembanyama, you see him score 40. He'll have about 13 points, about 8 blocks, right? And on average, you expect him to get 32 points, 12 rebounds, and let's say 5 blocks. As a consumer, as a bettor, you know his game. And it's very likely he's playing against this team tonight that he's going to have about 8 blocks. But Wemby is like, yeah, nah. Something wrong with my shoulder tonight. So I can't get this shoulder up like that, coach. So he either find a way to come out the game or not block the shot, because he would do an inside bet on himself. And I'm saying this as an example because most people know who Victor Wembanyama is at this point in time. So that's what prop betting is. It's basically a people having the availability to bet on a player's performance based on what he does, based on him doing his thing. So if a coach or another player places a bet knowing that he's going to do what he's about to do, that's against the law. That jeopardizes the whole integrity of the foundation of gambling. Gambling, what people don't realize and why this is a crime, is supposed to be fair based on your knowledge. This is what I know of this player, And I'm thinking this player is going to play and give it his all. He's going to have professional integrity in doing his best. Now, if he doesn't fulfill what I said that he does and he tried his best, then that's a part of the gambling game. I bet I lost. But if he doing it on purpose, then that's a problem. That corrupts the whole system. And people are winning millions of dollars. People, the reason why people get so engulfed in gambling is not only just addicting, but gambling could really take you out from a bad situation to a great situation in a matter of hours. What do I mean by that? You can literally gamble 5 times in a day, start off with $100 and end the day with 5 grand easily if you win the bet. So if you could win 5 grand 4 times out the week, that's 20 grand a month. There's 12 months in a year. That's about 200 and what, 240,000, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 280 off the top of my head. So at the end of the day, that's a lot of money. Some people are probably screaming the right answer right now, but y'all get the point that I'm making. I'm trying to make the point. I'm not trying to be correct with the number right now. I'm trying to make the point. The point and the fact of the matter is that's a lot of money. But if people are doing it on purpose, then you're out of money that they're doing it on purpose. So now the reason why this is even a bigger issue, the people who are gambling, we got a claim to sue. I bet this money thinking that this player was under the integrity of doing his very best. He's playing against this player. This player is ass. So he can do this shit. Now, if he tried and just didn't do it, he's missing his shots for real, then okay, I get it. But if he's clearly taking himself out the game, or, oh, I got a little injury. When you have a little injury, they take you out for a play or two, or they take you out for a quarter, depending on the injury. Time is passing. So you will have less opportunity to fulfill what said bet would be. So at the end of the day, and mind you, the bets are public. So the athletes can see what people are saying, that what they might score at, how many rebounds they might get, how many touchdowns they might score. So they see that as well, but they're not supposed to bet on it. They're not supposed to send somebody else with the bag. They're like, I'm going to throw 3 touchdowns today from real. Go bet that, bro. I'm going to give you some money. Go to Vegas. Go to New Orleans. Go make that bet. They track that. You're not leaving those states with that type of money without them tracking your money. If you made over 100 grand, 200 grand, if you have 100 grand, 200 grand in cash, you can't leave certain states without reporting it. They like, for real, Ash? If you taking a flight, that's a fact. If you on a flight and you got 100 grand, they make sure you don't leave without reporting it. That's a fact. Because 200 grand, you're not carrying it where it's like, it's the 200 grand bag. You don't want nobody to know you got 200 grand. So when you go through the metal detectors and the sensors, they could see that. Like, we got to pull you aside, my man, sister. And they count your money. Hey, you got 300,000 here, bruh. They write that down. They take your identification. So the thought that these guys thought they could pull it on that aspect, they trace all of that. People don't know that the FBI, or I don't want to say the FBI, but the NBA and the NFL, they have, I don't know if it's the FBI, the Secret Service, or the CIA, not the CIA, whether it's the FBI or Secret Service that works their own separate sector for the NBA, for the NFL, to protect the players. But of course, while you're protecting the players, they do stupid and dumb shit that they find out too. Like, bro, you can't do this. So this is a probe that everybody is going to jail and having to end up doing some jail time or pay hefty fines, because if Everybody bet, and this is millions of dollars. That means you will have millions of lawsuits to millions of to several booking agents, not millions of booking agents, but to several booking agents. Yo, this player threw this game. I bet 10 grand. I want my 10 grand back, and they will have to pay it. So in way of them not paying it, it's like, yo, we didn't know either, bro. I got duped too. I didn't pay you the 10 grand, but I had to pay somebody that 10 grand. So you got duped like I got duped. So you know what? We're going to report that and have them go to jail because it interrupts the integrity of betting. So that's why that's important. But it's crazy how these brothers is the face of it. And we hear the name Lucchese, Gambino. We hear the mafia names attached to it. And we don't see no members, man. We just see brothers being detained and handcuffed and all that other stuff. But we hearing the name that's still from the 70s, 80s, and a little bit of the 90s as far as these mafia families that's running gambling. And it's been a secret that the mafia has always ran Las Vegas and different betting houses. So if this was known, how do we get to this point? How do they still have access to it in 2025? So I don't think this just came out of nowhere. So so that's what's going on regarding that. Black men, anti-women need to stay away from that stuff, especially when you already have money. More sad news, when men get in certain positions in life, their new high priestess for guidance. It's not cool wasting all that energy on gambling. Black sons can't gamble when you have, like, with the small world. I will say this. When you make the type of money some of these guys is making, well, what the hell are you doing? On one aspect, I understand it. On the other aspect is, what the hell are you doing? Because on one aspect, gambling is not the same as having a business, but it can be looked at as having a business, because when you invest your money, which is gambling, when you invest your money in business, you don't know if you're going to make a profit or not. You're going off based on your knowledge and your and the people around you, and how you have your system. When you run a business, you use proven formulas. So it's a small difference, but it's still a gamble. So to the gambling mind is basically running a business. But instead of having to wait to get my money, I can get my money in 2 hours in cash right now. So I understand that aspect, and the more money you have, the more money that you can win. But there's another aspect that you already gambled. You already gambled your time, your energy, your money. Your money, your time, your energy on the life that you want. And you won. And you're getting rewarded for that by playing in the NBA, by playing in the NFL. You won that gamble. You beat the odds. You done got through the naysayers. You done got through high school. You done got through college. You done got through the program in the process of being an NBA player. You have a good background. You're the type of person that they want. You of a certain height. You have a certain type of energy. You are chose. You are chose. There's a lot of people that's talented enough that could play in any sport, but you are chose. So on that aspect, it's like you already gambled and you won. And getting paid 25 million, 40 million a year, yo, you don't need to put a gamble on a gamble that you already won. So on that aspect, I completely understand as well too. What the and I don't want to twist the combo. It's not about gambling for real. It's not about gambling for real. It's about understanding your privilege and understanding what you already have. That's all it really is. At the end of the day, on top of it, you're gambling nasty on top of that. Yeah, you're going to use your inside information if you had some, but you can't if you're already in position. You're already in position. You already got all the knowledge. You already know who's going to be hurt, who's not going to be hurt. The average person they have injury reports, but they're talking about in-depth injury reports. The injury reports that you see is guys who really can't, like I'm hurt. But then there's injury reports of the guys who try to go and you don't know that they're trying to go, but their prop is they got to score 30 points tonight. And they know they not scoring 30 points tonight. They won't put that on the injury report. In the NFL, they have what they call probable, questionable, and just straight up hurt or injured. They have that to be as very detailed as possible, so that way for the gamblers, they can make the best decision possible. But real in-depth information really comes from within the organization. So, 536 is so sad. Rashida is very evil. Rashida, it's very evil. I agree. 536, Rashida, gambling. I missed that last one. I know a couple of millionaires that lost everything, money, house. They had to live on the streets without a dollar. Talk about it, the same people. Very true. But you got to understand, that's their choice. That's their choice. Every person that gambles, that's their choice. When they win, nobody say, oh, look, you gambled and you have a big house, you have a nice car. Nobody says that then. So at the end of the day, know what your blessing is your blessing. And for these players, they already hit the lottery. They already gambled and they won. So to put a gamble top of another gamble is not ideal, I should say. It's not ideal. But it becomes a sickness. Very true. Very true. Gambling can be addictive. Gambling can be very addictive. Me personally, I got addicted to gambling. Me personally, it could be very addictive. But it's a choice. It's a choice. Anything is an addiction. Anything is addiction. Sex could be an addiction. Smoking could be an addiction. Drinking could be an addiction. Everything takes moderation. Me personally, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I don't gamble no more. Or not like that, I should say. But definitely, anything could be an addiction. Anything could be a sickness. It's just, again, you have to be balanced enough and you have to call it out when you sense it. Like, yo, I got a real problem. I need to stop. So, it's a part of life. It's a part of, nobody live life clean. We all have to go through something to have a testimony. We all have to. But it becomes a good saying, too much of everything is no good. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. I love gelatos, but I have to limit myself 2 a week because I could literally eat 2 a day. Have you ever had gelatos before? Oh my God. Gelatos is pressure. Whew. Gelatos, I walk down the gelato line, it'd be like, I'm only going to get 2. Don't let them buy one, get one free. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Yes, we need our money to take good care of our children. Men, don't gamble. Win with child's future. Life is a gamble. Life is a gamble. But I get what you're saying. Secure the future. And so I get that. I definitely get that with Sheeta. Raising child is not a game. Very true. Very true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Struggling is not a game neither. The struggle is not a game neither. And having something to show for matters. When you work and you bust your ass, It's not enough that you just have enough sometimes. You want something to show for. You want for your children to have their moment as well. And in order for your kids to have that moment, just because you don't gamble in the traditional sense, you still make gambles in other things to make sure you secure that bag. So life is a gamble. But I definitely, point still well taken though. Definitely get that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. College football picks is in. My pick six is in. My pick six is in for both college football and the NFL. Mind you, I got them picks. If y'all on y'all gamble, you trying to win a money line, you trying to win a parlay, or you just looking for a little action, take $10, turn it into a quick 50. I got some good picks, dog. So, first game I call for college football, my pick six. I call UCLA versus number 2 Indiana. Indiana won. I said Indiana will win that game. They won 56-6. Indiana is still dominating and kicking that. Next game I called, number 8 Ole Miss versus number 13 Oklahoma. I said Ole Miss will win this game. Ole Miss looks very solid, and they continue to get better as the season go on. They won 34-26. Next game I called, number 25 Michigan, my dogs. We played our little brothers, our little youngins, Michigan State up in Lansing. I said Michigan would win, and we did 31-20. We continue to look better and better week by week, my Michigan. But we got to find receivers, man. We got to find receivers because we want to throw that thing too. And I know we love to run the ball, but we got to find good receivers, man. Next game I called, number 3 Texas A&M versus number 20 LSU. I said Texas A&M will win this game, and they did. They won in a big fashion, 49-24. Texas A&M looked great, and this is the reason why when we spoke about Brian Kelly earlier, is the biggest reason why that it's looking like he's about to lose his job. This game, Texas A&M destroyed them. So again, shout out to Texas A&M. Next game I called, number 15 Missouri versus number 10 Vanderbilt. I said Missouri will win this game, and they lost. They lost 17-10 by a touchdown. The game came down to the wire. Missouri lost their quarterback in the midst of the game. So shout out to Vanderbilt. They continue to show up and show out, doing their thing and holding it down. Shout out to Big Smoke in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. We're going to hook you up with some exclusive tickets to the block party for being weird. So shout out to you. Next game I called was number 9 Stanford versus, next game I called was Stanford versus number 9 Miami. I said Miami would win this game, and they did, 42-7. Miami, they had the Army fatigue uniforms. It was fire. They showed up and showed out. So for my pick six for college football, my picks went 5-1 this week. So if you use any of my picks, you want to use some money on. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to, I forget who said it in the chat earlier that they use my picks and they won some money this week. So shout out to you. And, shout out to you. So my picks went 5-1. My pick six for NFL, I called the Vikings. First game I called was Vikings versus Chargers. I said the Chargers will win. They won 37-10 in dominating fashion. I thought the game would be closer than that. But the Chargers showed up and showed out. Next game I called, Jets versus the Bengals. I said the Bengals will win this game, and they lost 39-38. Jets came back by 2 to 3 touchdowns and won this game, which was very rare. Like, that Jets is a whole bunch of dysfunction, and the Bengals needed this game. So, no playoffs for the Bengals, man. Next game I'll call Browns versus the Patriots. I said the Patriots will win this game in big fashion, and they did. They won 32-13. Dylan Gabriel continues to struggle. Still haven't thrown a touchdown pass yet. Threw about 2 picks, if I'm not mistaken, and was sacked several times. Next game I'll call was the Giants versus the Eagles. I said the Eagles will win this game. They did, 38-20 in very dominating fashion. The young running back, Cam Scatterbull, we spoke about it early in the show. He went down in injury. It looked like he's going to be lost for the rest of the season. And the Eagles wasn't playing, man. I knew they was gonna win this game. They needed this game, and they just a better team. So yeah, the Eagles won this game. Next game I called was Cowboys versus the Broncos. From the last thing I saw, the Broncos was winning this game. So let me just double check before I give the score to this game. I seen the Broncos winning 44-22, if I'm not mistaken. Cowboys versus Broncos. Okay. So it's taking some time. Okay, so it was 44-24. Broncos won, like I said they would. And the last game I called was my Chiefs. You see the Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? This is my jersey, too. Got my name on the back, too. I got my Chiefs beating the Commanders. They play tomorrow. So that's Monday Night Football game. But, you know, we're going to tag that ass. So that's my pick 6 for the NFL and college football. Tune in on Wednesday for a new batch of my pick 6, both for college football and the NFL. Shout out to D's in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Okay, you're being weird. We don't do the bots over here, my brother. We don't do the bots over here. So I'm going to hook you up with some exclusive tickets to the block party, okay? We don't do the bots over here. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. I will keep the lie live segment. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. So my keep the lie live for this episode is the connection between being the kid that nobody has to worry about, do it lead to the person that ends up disappearing as an adult? That's a question that I ask myself, mainly because my parents growing up always told me I'm the son that they didn't have to worry about. Even though I was the talk back son, right? You know what I'm saying? The only thing my mother told me that she was worried about with me personally, she always said, when the devil speaks to your spirit, you got a tendency to listen. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she said to me before she passed, right? But throughout my life, as a child, as an adult, my parents didn't really worry about me for real. They didn't have to like check on me. They didn't have to like know what I wasn't not doing. You know, so it was always interesting. So I end up becoming the son that disappeared, not from my parents necessarily, but from my family, right? From my actual family. I don't hear from my actual family like that because I'm successful, and in their eyes, I'm good. They don't need to worry about me, and to really check on me for real, they would have to worry about me instead of being like, yo, how are you doing? So I find myself reaching out to my family members more than they reach out to me, just because I still need a sense of like that family connection, if that makes sense. So when I seen this saying, I'm like, this is interesting. When you grow up as the kid that nobody worries about because they feel like you're responsible, they feel like you're mature. And even though I used to, again, I'm the son that talked back. I talk back because, all my brothers are smart, but I'm challenging the view. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why are we doing that? Huh? Like, we could do that, but we could do that easy or better, right? So I'm that son, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't so even with my dad, me and my dad had more like a big brother, little brother relationship. My brother was definitely mama's boy. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? My mother even told me, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely mama's boy. But he was the oldest, and he had to deal with things that I didn't have to deal with him being the oldest, right? So at the end of the day, it made me wonder, is this the same experience for people all over? Or if you're out there and you're the child that your parents didn't have to worry about for real, meaning that they knew what you was going to be doing, if they didn't know what you was gonna be doing, they at least knew you were safe. You don't do stupid things in public, because you know when you see kids out and about, they just do stupid stuff for attention. You wasn't that kid, and as an adult, you just basically like disappeared in your own life. Like you live your own life, you live a good life, but nobody in your family for real really check on you because they already feel like you good. You're already raising your family, and like you're good. Like you know what I mean. Like you're established. You establish yourself. A member of society that's positive and have great energy. I wonder if that's the same uh, experience for other people out there. Like, let me know about that in the chat if you shared that same experience, because I always viewed it as like my parents needing less things to worry about. Even though both of them was highly educated, both my parents had their masters in their 20s. But my father struggled with jobs. Like, I, you know, he come through with a certain type of energy. He's smart, and it was kind of threatening as well. And some of the things probably made that he could have did things differently. It just didn't vibe, you know. So he didn't really make a way until he went to business for himself late in his life, well into his 40s and his 50s. My mom worked for Supreme Court of New York for over 35 years. And her working there, believe it or not, they won't say this for real, but in real corporate structure, if men and women work the same job, men still get paid higher, especially in those 70s, 80s, and 90s era. But you know, my mom not that old, but she worked there in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. But a lot of those years, men that would work her same job would make more money. And why did that matter? Because those men was making six figures. You know, my mom was fighting to make that five. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a struggle. So that's why that matters. And even though she showed improvement, her work was outstanding, it still was a part of that, right? So I wonder, because they had so much to worry about, I internalized that, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna give them less to worry about, but not worrying about me. So I wonder if y'all share that same experience. That is there a connection of the kid that nobody has to worry about? You really become the adult that disappears. Shout out to the chat. Greetings. Great content. Do you do butt stuff? Keep it up. Keep it up. Great work. Appreciate that, my brother. Who is that? Appreciate that. Shout out to Roman. Roman, appreciate you for that, man. Let me go back up. Washida, yeah, that's Black Sheep. Man, your broke roaches have GoFundMe. I have no contact with my family. My father got, killed. Sorry to hear that. When I was 18, my family just want to fight me because of freedom. I don't want to deal with them. Rashida, no, but I'm fine despite everything. Thanks. Do you like? Shout out to Alien. Hit them likes at the 100s. This is not the pot for that, man. We don't do the trolls. We don't do that over here, man. Both my parents are deceased. Same here. I'm sorry to hear that as well. Rashida, sorry for your loss. My condolences, 536. Rest in peace. That is sad. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't want to turn this into a sad party, right? I want to turn this into a strength party, because through this, there is strength that we have to find in our silence. You see what I'm saying? So when we have to deal with things on our own, mainly because we don't want to be a burden, and our parents got their own stuff to deal with, that becomes a source of strength, because it makes you kind of like ready for the world sooner than you want it to be, or that you have to be, right? It makes you more mature. But it also creates a space where, one, people don't play with you, which is powerful as an adult, but also it creates an unlikely space of not having that sense of family, not having that sense of connection. The older I get, the more I yearn for the sense of knowing my lineage. not just my grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, my great-great-great-grandparents. I'm lucky enough to have a baby book where I know who my grandparents is on both sides, great-grandparents is on both sides, the great-great-grandparents is on both sides, and the greats to them's greats. And I see their names on both mom, dad, mom, dad. I'm like, yo, this is scary. So if my great-great-grandfather, if he had 4 children, we don't have no connection to 3 out of 4 of those children. Because if my great-great-grandfather had 4 children, and one of them included my grandfather, and my grandfather has 6, you see what I'm saying? And I have aunts and uncles from them, but I don't even know all my cousins for real. I just met one of my first cousins for the first time when my father passed away, and he was 40 at the time, and I had to be about like 35 at the time. And I'm like, yo, I'm meeting you and you 40? And we first cousins? That don't make sense. So it's so crazy how the family structure is severely fragmented. And if that happens with first cousins, can you imagine with the second or you know, or the grandparents that you didn't necessarily have like the connection to, because it seemed like somebody died off, and that connection with that side of the family is that all. So you lose source and sense of connection that we all need, yo. Especially in this time and day where we going through so much. We deal with so much more than what, I won't say so much more. It's just different. It's a different type of worry than our great-great-grandparents had to worry about. But it's still a lot. And the way that they got through was through having the sense of family, having that sense of knowing your lineage. So the older I get, the more I want to know, like, yo, where did I get this from? And and with my children and my kids, where do they get that from? Obviously, they get it from me, but I get it from somebody is the point that I'm making. You see what I'm saying? So that matters at the end of the day. So I wonder if y'all have that same connection. And some of y'all had said it in the chat that y'all do and have gone through similar things in that. And just to bring it on home, what happens next when your family know that they haven't really reached out to you in a minute? Do you say, all right, they haven't reached out to me in a minute, I'm going to reach out to them? Or do you say, I'm returning energy, baby? And for some people, I get it. Some people, family or relatives, I like to differentiate relatives and family, because family is people that you choose. It's people that you love on, that find every excuse to respect you. Relatives is people you can't choose. They're your lineage. They're your bloodline. They find excuses to disrespect you. Like, yeah, I know I said this, but I'm your cousin. I'm your brother. I'm your sister. No, you can still get suplexed. It's equal opportunity ass whoopings all across the board. Like, yeah, watch what you say. Watch your mouth, right? So I get that. But what are you losing? What is the bigger thing that's being lost? Your sense of peace or your sense of family? And is there any way you can have both, or a little bit of both, or sacrifice a little piece just to have that connection? Because how can you really have real connection if you don't have just a little piece at bare minimum? In order for us to be family for real, you better respect me. I'm not asking for it. That's just me personally. But again, it comes at a cost. So looking at this, you go from the kid again, from being the kid that nobody worries about, that your family don't have to worry about because you took the mature route, to the person that disappears in their life. Shout out to Malu. I cut the cords, and I've been trying, but I almost took me out. of the earthly realm, and I have a lot of responsibility, so I shut it off. I'm an adult today, if all about making the responsible response for myself, a husband, hus- husband, and children. Uh, Shout out to Cal, hit them likes, hit the 100s. Shout out to Keith, Stephen A. Okay. Shout out to y'all, hit them likes, hit the 100s. Shout out to y'all. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. Again, for those who just joining in, is the connection between being the kid that nobody has to worry about to the person that disappears in their life. Is there a connection to that? And it is. It is. We've heard it throughout the chat. I spoke my experiences on it. And there's always a happy medium somewhere. But I view respect over everything. But I also have the temperament that respect as well, because respect can also land you behind bars. And that's what my mother used to say, like, yo, when the devil start talking to your spirit, you listen. And I always base that in respect. If you don't respect me, I used to crash out. But again, you have to know who to give your energy to. And sometimes, not sometimes, but when you give people your energy and it's like super negative and they're super negative, they low-key become your masters. So you have to learn how to really dish it out fairly and get rid of it. So, bro, where's the shout out to you? See what I'm saying? Like, again, this is a person who's coming in that's trying to be a stain, who's trying to stand out for saying something negative, trying to stand out, and the jokes is not joking. But if I give him all my energy, he's my master. You know? The Timu. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you for tapping in the only real, uh, just you're a weirdo. I appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes and 100s while you're here. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see a picture of you, so that way, we can engage on jokes. I love to joke. I'm a connoisseur of good jokes. I like to joke. I like to do that, but I'm not going to give you negative energy because you're giving me that. But appreciate you though, man. So we got quite a few of the weirdos tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s while you here. Chat laughing at y'all. We got badge holders laughing at them weirdos. But appreciate y'all for that. Yeah, so that's my Keep the Lie Live for this episode. Appreciate y'all tapping in. I'm working on an event coming up that I'm going to share with y'all probably on Sunday's episode that I would love for y'all to just be a part of and tap in, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do a real big style, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let that be known next episode. That's going to be real fire. Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, Button Snaps and OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me on my Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. Shout out to the presenting sponsor of the podcast in itself is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, have some new music coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna announce it. It's fire too, y'all. It's fire. It's chef's kiss. It's fire. I can't wait to drop this new music. I'm coming up with different concepts, visual concepts that I really want people to really understand and get when I drop this music as well. So shout out to y'all for that. Can't wait for y'all to listen to that. Again, we're on the road to 20,000 subs. I'm a little over 11,000 subs. So continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell. I do pop up throughout the week. And make sure you tap into the content. Got a whole lot of videos, y'all. We got the playlist of Can the Brothers Get a Rap playlist up right now. Make sure you tap into that playlist and show that love. Yeah, shout out to some of the widows in the chat. Listen, the only we recognize over here is opportunity. So shout out to y'all. Appreciate the real ones in the building that show major love. As always, uh, we got a loyal base here, and I love it, and it's growing each and every day. I hope y'all continue to share the pod with people who that that want to engage in this knowledge and this information and this fun. So shout out to y'all. Like I said, if it's your first time watching, we're on every Sunday and every Wednesday at 10:30. Again, every Sunday and every Wednesday at 10:30. So make sure y'all tap in. Also, I'm also going to be adding back Overstand podcast. That will be coming back soon as well. In coming weeks, I'm going to be adding the Overstand podcast again. For those who are not familiar with the Overstand podcast, like that podcast, I do live interviews of my different guests that do be on the show. So if you haven't seen any of those episodes, I have quite a few of those episodes as well. Just type in the Overstand podcast and it'll pop up, and it's on this channel as well too. So that will be coming back soon, and I may add another show that's going to be sports based, and it's going to be super fun as well. So but it's all continuation with the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. So again, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Y'all been amazing. Y'all been an absolute blast. Please hit them likes, hit the 100s on the way out. Them likes and them 100s, them hearts. Please fill up the screen with that for me one time. Please fill those bad boys up. It helps with the growth of the show. And you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all a million, for real. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, man. And I hate to leave, but I'm going to see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. It's love. See y'all next time. And hold on, before I go, a quick shout out to some of the chat. I'll be remiss if I leave out some of the chat. I'm not going to say everybody, but I'm going to shout a couple of y'all out. Shout out to Rashida in the building. Shout out to Malu in the building. Shout out to Maria Rivera in the building. Shout out to Toasty. Shout out to Michael King in the building. Shout out to Anthony. Nah, don't shout out to Anthony. Hold up, what do you say? Yeah, don't shout out to him. He's a weirdo. He almost got blocked. Shout out to King. Shout out to missed that one. Shout out to Aura. I'm not gonna shout every single person out. It was a lot of people. Shout out to Lovely Ant, Spider Monkey, Oscar. We had North Korea in the building. Shout out to the person from North Korea as well. I think I shout out Lovely Race as well. But shout out to y'all. Anybody that engaged in any type of real love, energy, said anything positive, really engaged into the conversations. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. You haven't gone unnoticed. Shout out to you. Thank you for pulling up, showing love. And again, thank y'all for being amazing. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. And again, I will see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. It's love. We out.